Will they plow the streets better? I've got that story coming up.
There's a rush at local grocery stores, hardware stores, other businesses as people get ready for the weather. We'll have the latest after CBS News.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Clouds, some sun, breezy, and turning much colder today. Temperatures dropping into the single digits this morning, staying nearly steady about 10 this afternoon.
I'm Joe Pott. We've got Billikens basketball this afternoon here on KMOX, and the Blues are back on the ice later tonight. I've got details on both coming up in sports.
And in CBS News, President Trump says ahead of the midterm elections, he'll take his economic message on the road.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A brutal winter storm expected to spread from the southwest to northeast is just getting started. Meteorologist Craig Allen is keeping track.
The snow and the ice, it's getting underway now across the southwest part of the United States, moving into Texas and the central and southern plains. The worst of the icing is going to be in a line from Texas right on up to the mid-Atlantic coastline.
Airlines have begun canceling flights. Road crews are brining highways and sidewalks. Piscataway, New Jersey Mayor Brian Waller says his township, though, is having a hard time getting a hold of supplies.
We have not received a shipment of salt in 3 weeks, and I'm very concerned about that.
Supermarkets and hardware stores are trying to keep up with the demand for groceries, batteries, generators, and shovels. President Trump is back at the White House after meeting with world leaders in Davos, Switzerland. Greenlanders say they're suffering whiplash after he backed off threats to take their island by force.
1 hour, we are almost at war. Next hour, everything is fine and beautiful.
It's no school, no work, no shopping day in Minneapolis. CBS's Taylor Rivera.
Organizers say the day of action aims to demonstrate the community's economic impact while protesting the ongoing presence of federal agents. Somali storekeeper Khadija Warsame.
God bless America. We are sending this message for Washington, D.C. We need a change.
Participants say they'll also be demanding a formal investigation into the killing of Renee Good by an ICE agent.
There's a hearing today for a father and his 5-year-old son in ICE detention there after they were rounded up in their driveway. A year after Congress voted to ban it, TikTok is in the U.S. to stay. CBS's Kelley O'Grady.
Both China and the U.S. signed off on a deal to spin off TikTok's U.S. operations just a day before the deadline that could have forced the app offline. Now, the new company would be majority owned by a group of mostly American investors. Now, those investors would include private equity firm Silver Lake, MGX, that's an Abu Dhabi-based fund, and tech giant Oracle.
Some famous documents are up for auction today as the country gets set to celebrate its 250th birthday.
The collection at Christie's in New York includes a rare 1776 printing of the Declaration of Independence and Rufus King's edited draft of the U.S. Constitution.
This is the Constitution taking final form. You can see the edits being made in real time.
Christie's specialist Peter Clarnett expects those documents and a copy of the Emancipation Proclamation signed by Abraham Lincoln to sell for at least $3 million each. There are also rare paintings of George Washington and JFK. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Dow futures down 103. This is CBS. Take control of your financial life. Follow and listen to Money Watch with Jill Schlesinger on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
At 6:03, we have cloudy skies, 16 degrees, but it feels like 1 degree downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, January 23rd. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. Let's check in first thing with KMOX AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg for a look at the winter storm heading our way.
Cold weather advisories are in effect from midnight tonight through noon tomorrow. So bitter cold air is now pouring into the region behind a cold front from the north. And it is going to stay brutally cold, not just today, but tonight, tomorrow, and through the entire storm and beyond. And, of course, we have the winter storm warning that goes into effect at midnight tonight through 6 p.m. Sunday. As we talked about yesterday, this storm is really going to come in two distinct pieces. The first piece could break out as some light snow toward daybreak tomorrow morning and then last into the day tomorrow. Then it may let up and even stop for a time later in the afternoon and evening. but then the second piece will come in from the south and west, and that will prove steadier and somewhat heavier snows across the area tomorrow night into the day on Sunday before it winds down in the afternoon. We're expecting at least 3 to 6 inches of snow across the area, but it looks like higher amounts are definitely in play. A good 6 to 10 inches just to the south and east of the city. A slight shift in that second piece of energy could bring those higher totals right into Metro St. Louis. Expect extremely difficult and treacherous travel throughout the day on Sunday before the system moves away Sunday night.
Joe's extended forecast is coming up at 6:10.
Mayor Kara Spencer facing her first real test of an issue that helped launch her to victory last election.
Focus on making sure that we get, first and foremost, those primary, secondary, and hill routes done. That was something that didn't happen last round.
St. Louis City Mayor Kara Spencer as the city prepares for single-digit temperatures and heavy snowfall. Mayor Spencer was highly critical of the city's response last year under then-Mayor Tashara Jones, especially when it was revealed the street director at the time was unaware roadways that were supposed to be plowed had been left untouched. New Streets Director James Jackson says part of how they'll avoid repeating this mistake is new quality assurance teams that work out of the neighborhood improvement districts.
They don't really know snow. So all they know is driving conditions. And we're putting them out there. We're going to have 16 people out there that are actually going to be reporting in to us and telling us what the conditions look like to help us identify the areas that we really need to hit.
Mayor Kara Spencer is asking for patience as this will be the first time the city is plowing residential streets. They are asking residents to park in driveways if they can to avoid their cars being plowed in. Outside St. Louis City Hall, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The Missouri Department of Transportation is launching a full-scale operation to combat the incoming winter storm. MoDOT Director Ed Hassinger says the agency is moving to a 24-hour schedule to keep up with the situation.
As the precipitation starts to fall, our team is going to be fully deployed across the state. 3,000 folks working 2 shifts a day until this is back to near normal conditions.
The governors in both Missouri and Illinois taking action ahead of the big winter storm. Mike Kehoe has declared a state of emergency in Missouri.
Our state is facing a significant weather event. And when the weather event is in almost all 114 counties across the state, it's challenging for our state and your communities to keep our roads clear.
In Illinois, Governor J.B. Pritzker has ordered the state's emergency management agency to deploy extra resources to central and southern Illinois to make sure local authorities have what they need to take on the storm's effects.
Because of the wintry weather, the 19th annual Ice Carnival in the Delmar Loop has been rescheduled. It will take place next Saturday instead of tomorrow.
An arrest has been made for a Wednesday armed robbery at a BP gas station in Caseyville. Police say 49-year-old Anthony Mays was taken into custody at a Washington Park residence about 3 hours after the holdup. The St. Clair County State's Attorney charged Mays on Thursday.
Missouri regulators are declining to ban college player prop bets, sidestepping a nationwide push from the NCAA.
The association wants to eliminate wagers on individual stats like points or rebounds, citing athlete harassment. But sportsbooks argue that prohibition would be a mistake. Ryan Butler with Covers.com says operators testify that banning these markets removes the monitoring software that's needed to spot match fixing.
The NCAA will continue to say that these bans increase harassment of athletes. It leads to more, for lack of a better term, temptation, more possible nefarious actors, things like that.
But Butler says 7 of the 8 licensed operators in the state testified against the ban. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, KidSmart, a St. Louis nonprofit that distributes educational resources to underserved communities, has received its largest ever gift, $3 million from Enterprise Mobility Foundation. KidSmart says the donation will allow expansion of its delivery fleet across Missouri. Over the past 25 years, KidSmart has distributed more than $100 million in educational resources to pre-kindergarten through 12th grade students.
It is 6:08. We'll take a little break here, and then we'll bring you the latest on the roadways, the weather, and how people are preparing for this weekend. Stay with us. It's KMOX 104.1 FM.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RAIN.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW-1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's now 6:10. We're going to check the forecast with Joe Lundberg in just a moment here. First, though, let's check the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, they're still out here in Kirkwood working with the crash on westbound 44 before Big Bend. It looks like they just have the right lane blocked now. I think there was a tractor trailer involved. There was definitely a big rig tow truck there for a bit. There's still a vehicle on the shoulder, so they still have the right lane blocked, waiting for another tow truck, but just the right lane blocked, and it is westbound, so traffic's getting by just fine. Really not even much of a slowdown, and thankfully eastbound not slowing for a look either with all the flashing lights. They're cruising along without any issues so far, and the rest of these highways look great. No other incidents on the interstates. I believe they should have that crash wrapped up on Waterford, north of Dunn, up at Florissant. But even in the construction zones on the highways, things are light and on the go for you on both sides of the river so far. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Intervals of clouds and sun today, breezy and turning much colder. Temperature will tumble into the single digits this morning and then hold nearly steady close to 10 this afternoon, with AccuWeather the real field temperatures dropping to 5 to 15 below. It'll be frigid tonight. Cloudy skies, perhaps a bit of snow late, below zero. Cloudy and quite cold tomorrow with intermittent snow. Roads will become snow-covered and slippery, the high 12. Snow will be steadier and at times heavier tomorrow night into Sunday before ending late in the day. Snow accumulation between 3 and 6 inches, although 6 to 10 inches more likely just south and east of the city. Travel will become extremely difficult and dangerous, the high Sunday, 15. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Well, if you haven't poked your head outside yet, it is very cold. And right now it's 15 degrees, feels like 2 below.
We'll talk some Billikens basketball. They're back on the floor tonight. That's coming up in sports.
It's 6:12. There's a rush at local grocery stores ahead of the big snowfall headed our way.
I'm Sean Malone outside Schnucks in South City, finding out what St. Louisans are stocking up on ahead of the winter storm.
Oh, just the usual.
What are the usuals?
Oh, like milk and meat and toiletries and, cake.
What did you wind up stocking up on before the storm?
Junk.
Junk food? Good. Enjoy it. Something that you don't have to worry about heating or cooking if the power goes out.
I'm gonna be honest.
What did you guys stock up on ahead of the winter storm?
Alcohol.
St. Louis City is significantly increasing its shelter bed capacity through the weekend. The city's Health and Human Services Director, Adam Pearson, is imploring the unhoused to take advantage of the shelters.
We have meals. We have staff that can help you out. If there's anybody with families or disabilities or special access needs, feel free to call 211 for information on how to get into shelter.
The city will be bringing an additional 600 beds online with 1,000 total available.
AAA's Nick Tabaria says the number one reason people call their emergency service line is because of a dead car battery. Given the frigid forecast,
if your battery is more than 3 years old, we recommend having it tested now. That way that you can replace it rather than have it die on you when this cold hits.
He says if your vehicle's battery is 5 years old, it's best to replace it before it dies.
Jurors return to deliberations today, this morning, in the federal trial of former St. Louis Alderman Brandon Bosley. He's accused of defrauding an insurance carrier on a car claim and lying to federal investigators. Bosley rejected a plea deal offer from prosecutors and requested a jury trial.
Illinois fares much better than Missouri in several areas on a new ranking of America's healthiest states.
Illinois was found to be the 23rd healthiest state in the nation, compared to Missouri finishing near the bottom at number 40, according to Smart Asset's annual report on America's healthiest states. The Illinois obesity rate is 33%, while in Missouri it's 37%. 78% of Illinois adults exercise regularly, compared to 76% in Missouri. Illinois has a much lower smoking rate too, 13% compared to Missouri's 18%. Nationally, Utah is the healthiest state, while West Virginia is the least healthy. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The Jays' annual or biannual used book sale has changed its weekend schedule due to the weather. The VIP preview has been moved to Saturday morning, tomorrow morning from 8 to 10, and the sale is now closed on Sunday. Monday will now be opening day of the popular book sale at the St. Louis Jewish Community Center. It is 6:15.
Well, the Blues wrap up their 3-game road trip tonight, and they've dropped each of the first 2 games on the trip, falling 5-0 at Edmonton on Sunday, 3-1 at Winnipeg on Tuesday. Tonight, the Blues will be in Dallas to face the Stars. It is the second of 4 matchups this season, and the last 2 matchups, well, they come over the next 2 weeks. The Blues won the first meeting this season. They're 3-2-3 in their last 8 games against the Stars. Blues start tonight 8th in the Central with 46 points. While the Stars are now 3rd in the division with 65 points. Dallas trails Minnesota by 2 points for second, and Colorado by 12 points for the top spot in the division. The puck drops at 7 o'clock tonight. It is the first of back-to-back games for the Blues, who will be home tomorrow to take on the Kings at Enterprise Center. Billikens will hit the floor tonight.
Puts it on the floor. Lobs to Robbie. Tough play. Layup good. Oh, my. El Paso de Avila. Es lento pero aplastante. How did he make that play, Earl?
And in one motion, able to
almost
put it
dove
in the
for
basket. Yes.
St. Louis is at St. Bonaventure this afternoon. It's a 4:30 Central Time tip-off. The 24th ranked Billikens are 18-1 overall and one of 2 teams with a perfect record in the Atlantic 10. The Billikens and George Washington are both 6-0 in league play. George Washington, by the way, will be at Chaffetz Arena on Tuesday. You can hear this afternoon's game at St. Bonaventure, beginning with the pregame show at 4:15 with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. Dr. Richard Chaffetz, big-time SLU booster, obviously, the naming rights of the arena. He visited with Martin Kilcoyne and our partners at Fox 2 and was asked what it means for the Billikens to have that national ranking.
You get more visibility. I think there are some quiet, kind of fans that will now come out of the woodwork. And I think you'll start to see people get more excited to see what many will consider a Cinderella team, a Cinderella story, given where we've come over the last few years to where we are today. So this is an easy team to like. They play hard. They're unselfish. We got a lot of scorers. They gel well. There's a lot of great chemistry. Josh is an interesting and fun to watch coach. So I think you're going to see the fan base expand dramatically, and it's great for the university.
It's Dr. Richard Chaffetz again. That's courtesy of Fox 2. Last night, SIUE knocked off Tennessee State 74-66 in Edwardsville. Lindenwood beat up on Tennessee Tech 89-68. Next sports update coming up at 6:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Bitter cold temperatures and accumulating snow is about to descend on the St. Louis region this weekend.
Wind-driven snow with bitter cold temperatures.
Stay up to date with the latest forecasts and what you need to know to keep you and your family safe from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Storm Center on 104.1 FM KMOX.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER Click Grainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Looking for your dream home in Wentzville? Welcome to Sutton Farms by Lombardo Homes, where community and comfort come together. Enjoy resort-style living with a private clubhouse, indoor courts, a splash pad, sand volleyball, walking trails, and even a dog park. Design your own custom home in our Parkside, Nature, or Tradition series, all within the top-rated Wentzville School District. Discover the perfect blend of small-town charm and modern convenience at Sutton Farms, located off Piney Road in Wentzville. Visit lombardohomes.com to learn more.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history. From moment to memory.
Presenting the Barnyard Follies.
Among those voices, Bill Wilkerson.
He fakes drop sets, looking, throwing upfield. It is.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Now the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 6:20. Let's get you caught up on traffic and weather. Here is Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have our crash out here in Kirkwood, Debbie, on westbound 44 before Big Bend. The right lane is still shut down. There's just barely a slowdown going past it because it is opposite direction rush hour flow. It's very early in the morning, and it's very early on a Friday morning. So 3 reasons why you're not really seeing much in the way of delays there. And the flashing lights are not drawing the attention of the eastbound drivers. We have a little bit of volume. Otherwise, just north 55 briefly, a little slow into the work zone. Bayless to Weber. 70 looks okay in Wright City since they picked up the overnight road work. And eastbound 70 east there across the Blanchette's fine. Southbound 61 get on to 64. Another great run out of Wentzville and downtown. We're still good to go westbound across the Poplar and Mutual Veterans Bridges. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, of course, we are going to head into cold weather and winter storm advisories as we head into midnight. For the day, a mix of clouds and sun, breezy. The temperatures are already dropping today, and they're going to fall into the single digits, and that's going to push our real field temperatures 5 to 15 below zero today. Right now, we do have 15 degrees with a real feel of 0 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:22. Meteorologists sounding an alarm for this weekend's winter weather. Melissa Delia with the National Weather Service says you should prepare now for a multi-day event that will bring a combination of winter hazards.
This precipitation is going to fall in 2 rounds, with the first round starting late Friday night into early Saturday morning and continuing into Saturday evening. And this is when we are going to see sleet falling across far southern Missouri along the Arkansas border and into the Boot Heel. That sleet across that area will transition to all snow, and the remainder of the event will be snow across the entire state. The second round of precipitation of snowfall will occur early Sunday morning and continuing through Sunday evening. Now, we have high confidence that we are going to see significant impacts to life across southern Missouri, south of I-70, but our uncertainty lies in how far north those impacts are going to extend above the I-70 corridor.
Delia says, remember also the cold will be dangerous regardless of when the snow falls.
The scope of the storm is massive. 200 million Americans could be impacted as the system treks over 2,000 miles coast to coast. Meteorologist Craig Allen predicts it will go down in history books.
As of this morning, we now have over 40 states of the lower 48 with some kind of winter weather alert. That includes snow and ice. And there will be areas that have near blizzard conditions with whiteouts that reduce the visibility down to near zero.
Well, as bad as it might get here in St. Louis, others are expecting just as bad or worse. Bruce Marcus is in Eagle River, Wisconsin. That is northern Wisconsin.
Very cold weather is nothing new here, especially in the northern part of the state. But when temperatures drop to as low as 30 below, many residents don't like to go outside.
It makes my face all numb and my toes cold. You start to not be able to feel your face.
That woman wishes summer was already here, but this woman won't go quite that far.
Not yet. I own the bar up there. We need the snowmobilers and the people, the tourism, and this is wonderful.
Bruce Marcus for CBS News, Eagle River, Wisconsin.
It's 6:24. Former special counsel Jack Smith, who pursued 2 criminal cases against President Trump, never got to make his case before a jury, but he had plenty to say to lawmakers Thursday about what he describes as an alleged conspiracy to overturn the 2020 election, which led to the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, 2021. CBS Justice correspondent Scott McFarlane has more.
Trump called Smith a deranged animal and said hopefully the attorney general is looking at what he's done, opposed to which Smith responded.
Do you believe that President Trump's Department of Justice will find some way to indict you?
I believe that they will do everything in their power to do that because they've been ordered to by the president.
Luigi Mangione, accused of the December 2024 murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, is due in federal court today. At issue is whether Mangione's backpack was searched in an unlawful manner when he was arrested at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, days after the killing.
The federal prosecution case involves the possible death penalty sentence. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman examines the issues.
Today, there is an evidentiary hearing, and this is about the contents of Luigi Mangione's backpack, the items that were taken when he was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania. So testifying today will be someone from the Altoona Police Department.
AP correspondent John Gambrill reports on the rising death toll in Iran and Tehran's response.
Activists say Iran's bloody crackdown on nationwide protests has killed over 5,000 people. This came from the U.S.-based group known as Human Rights Activist News Agency, which has been accurate in previous rounds of unrest in Iran. Iranian officials earlier this week said that over 3,000 had been killed, but Tehran has a history of either underreporting or not at all disclosing fatalities in rounds of unrest. The Associated Press has been unable to independently assess the death toll given the ongoing 2-week-long internet cutoff by authorities and disruptions to international phone calls into the Islamic Republic.
Make sure you stay with KMOX over this weekend and today as we follow the track of the storms that are cutting across the United States, bringing extreme cold and also a number of snow showers that will be coming our way. We're also following what the local emergency responders are doing to try to make sure they mitigate what's happening with that snow. So make sure you stay with us here on KMOX at 6:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, Happy New Year, big boy. Hey, what's up, Izzy? Also known as the Kool-Aid Man. You got any New Year's resolutions?
I got one, Eddie. I've promised myself to spend more time on that toasty warm, huge, heated outdoor patio of yours. It's nothing like having your coat off, drinking the coldest beer in town with hundreds of your family, friends.
Man, it is a toasted patio, and that's a great resolution. And, thanks for not mentioning things like weight loss and health kick. And those would be hard in Fast Eddie's. It'd be hard to lose any kind of weight or take away from anything when you got the 5-pound Fat Eddie burger, the hot chick on a stick, that big Elwood on a stick, and those succulent peel-and-eat shrimp.
Yeah, I am not losing any weight hanging around your place. I learned it's a lot easier just to make those resolutions simple and fun, buddy.
Man, and that's easy. You're right. That's a great resolution. So make your resolution fun. And head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air. You know where to go across that big, beautiful Clark Bridge and come into Alton, Illinois. So like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, we'll see you at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Kool-Aid Man.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Who's been talking about St. Louis sports since 1985? Bernie Miklasz.
The reasons Tony Romo has basically just collapsed as an analyst is he doesn't put any work into it. You can tell. Collinsworth is very well prepared. You know, he knows what he's talking about because he's researched it and he's talked to everyone and he's made sure to get details and to be on top of things. Romo just kind of wings it.
Bernie Miklasz. Hear what he has to say on the voice of the St. Louis Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is now 6:30, and in downtown St. Louis, we've got 15 degrees. Make that 14 degrees. Feels like 3 below. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the only trouble spot we had, folks, is taken care of. They wrapped up that crash westbound 44 before Big Bend. All lanes are open through there. And even when they had lanes blocked, even when they had 2 lanes blocked, there was just a hint of a slowdown. So really wasn't that much of an imposition, and certainly isn't now that it's gone. Seeing a little bit of volume, but only in one spot that I can tell right now. Northbound 55, a couple of slowdowns. We'll call it north of Bayless up through Holly Hills, just a little busy at a couple of points in those work zones. Not jammed, just kind of heavy through there. Still looks good out west. Southbound 61, eastbound 70, and 64 coming in from Wentzville across Missouri River bridges. You're good to go. And downtown westbound across the Poplar and Mutual Veterans bridges. Again, still light traffic on this Friday morning for Illinois drivers as well. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's just really cold out there right now. The snow and all of that is going to start tomorrow. Today, you should just be aware that temperatures are going to continue falling into the single digits. We might hit 10 degrees, but it is going to feel like 5 to 15 below. The cold weather advisory and the winter storm warning both kick in at midnight tonight, and we'll start seeing intermittent snow tomorrow. And it'll snow pretty much all day. We could see anywhere, depending on where you are, from 3 to 10 inches of snow. We'll keep you posted here all day long at KMOX. Again, it's 14 degrees, feels like 3 below.
It's 6:31. A winter storm warning posted for our region through Sunday night.
Snow is not the only threat this weekend. I'm Michael Calhoun. The National Weather Service warns that plunging temperatures will create a life-threatening situation for anybody caught outdoors. Meteorologist Melissa Delia.
Dangerous cold is certain with this event before, during, and after snow occurs. And that will make folks who are outside unsafe if they are not properly sheltered.
The amount of snow is still uncertain, she says, for northern regions, but the southern half of the state is for sure going to get snow.
The city of St. Louis is activating Code Blue Level 4 this weekend.
Adam Pearson, the city's director of Health and Human Services, says St. Louis will be activating an additional 600 shelter beds, bringing the total to 1,000. He adds the city will also be activating their buses to transport residents to their closest shelter.
We encourage everybody to call 211, meet at the rally points that are available for Code Blue. We can get you transportation to shelter. We have the free transportation through Metro.
Level 4 of Code Blue means many overnight shelters will also remain open during the daytime. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Missouri State Troopers warning that overconfidence can be deadly in bitter cold. Captain Scott White says many drivers fail to prepare for the reality of being stranded in a ditch or trapped in a traffic jam without supplies.
Nobody believes that they're going to be the one that will end up in a ditch or be the driver that ends up in a crash. But what they forget about is being in stuck in a traffic backup for 6 hours or dealing with a road closure that doesn't have any good detours. And they're low on gas, they have no water, and a dead cell phone.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Coming up, we've got your Money Minute and another look at traffic and weather. So stay with us at 6:33.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Our firm handles hundreds of crash cases involving semi-trucks every year. A crash case involving semis is much different And if you don't know what you're doing, you can leave lots of money on the table. Many times there is separate insurance for the cab and for the trailer. Sometimes there are actually layers of other insurances and excess insurance that some lawyers may not know about because they don't see that many cases. We see these cases every day. Also, there are federal laws governing the hours a driver may drive in a 24-hour period and logs that are required. A crash case involving a semi-truck is a totally different animal than a simple car crash. We have lawyers who only handle these cases. It's all they do. Rolling the dice with the wrong law firm can be disastrous. Call us on your cell phone at Pound Law, pound 529. It's so easy. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Time for your money report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. SpaceX is said to have lined up banks to take Elon Musk's rocket and satellite company public. The company's moving forward with its plans for the biggest ever initial public offering. Sources tell us SpaceX is targeting an IPO as soon as this year that would value the company at about $1.5 trillion. Checking on the market, stock futures are falling this morning. Investors have been whipsawed this week. President Trump first threatened tariffs on Europe earlier this week over his bid for Greenland, then abruptly dropped them. S&P futures are down 17 points, Dow futures dropping 125. Yesterday, stocks gained with the Dow rising 307 points. And Intel gave a lackluster forecast because supply shortages are making it harder for the chip maker to meet customer demand. It's a disappointment for investors who expected more of a boost from new products. The once dominant chip company has spent years trying to restore its edge and recover from market share losses. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message data rates may apply or apply. Stop to opt out.
This is an important message for all parents of teens. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to social media sites such as Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, and they have suffered from eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Disclosures by a Facebook whistleblower show Instagram and Facebook know their social media platforms were highly addictive and may have caused eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation. It appears these social media companies knew they had been causing serious harm to kids, but have done little to stop it. If your teen has been harmed by social media like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, then you could be eligible for significant compensation. If you'd like to discuss a lawsuit, text LEVEL to 323232, LEVEL to 323232, LEVEL to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson, Media Advertising Specialists, LLC, is responsible for the content of this ad with principal offices in Chicago, Illinois.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Tonight, it's men's Billikens basketball action as they take on St. Bonaventure. Pregame 4:15, tip at 4:30 on your home for Billikens basketball. KMOX.
It is 6:38 as the news continues. AP correspondent Donna Warder reports on the big snowstorm expected to cause problems for much of the country this weekend.
Earlier this week, more than 100 vehicles smashed into each other or slid off the interstate south of Grand Rapids, Michigan.
I seen it way ahead, and I had to go out. I went off the edge. This guy got hit. Yeah, you got about 100. Yeah, about 100 cars.
Motorist Pedro Mato Jr. was caught up in the wreck, which closed a section of Interstate 196. Now severe weather is about to hit much of the United States. National Weather Service meteorologist Frank Pereira says heavy snow is expected to cover the southern Rockies and Plains through the mid-Atlantic and into the Northeast.
We're looking at widespread snowfall totals of 6 inches to upwards of a foot or more in some places.
And for parts of the southern U.S., ice.
We're looking at ice accumulations that will likely exceed a quarter inch in many areas, up to perhaps even 1 inch.
Forecasters say the damage from this storm, especially areas pounded by ice, could rival a hurricane. I'm Donna Warder.
Let's see how things are rolling out there on the roads. I know we've had some problems on 44. Roger Brand joining us now from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. How's it look overall, Roger?
Yeah, overall, it was great, Megan. It is a Friday morning. It tends to be lighter than most mornings, and right now things are fine. That problem we did have in Kirkwood, that was that crash westbound 44 before Big Bend. They cleared it a little while ago, and there was barely a slowdown, even when they were out there having a couple lanes blocked because it was westbound. It is this time of day, and it is a Friday morning, so three things conspiring to help make your commute a good one, even when there is trouble like that. They just cleared a stall. They're popping up every once in a while. North 270 at 44, they just moved that out of the way, so I don't see any delays there. In fact, the only slowdown right now I'm seeing interstate-wise is going to be northbound Highway 55. Just a little busy. It's not even Bayless up to River de Pere. It's more like Weber to River de Pere, just a little busy there. But downtown, we're still clear across the Poplar and Musial Veterans Bridges. Coming in from out west, eastbound 70 east of Warrenton through the work zones. They got all that overnight stuff picked up. Southbound 61 looks good. Down onto eastbound 64 and eastbound 70, and they're both moving without delay from that point across the Missouri River bridges. So no concerns there. And 55 down in Festus, even in that work zone, is fine up through McNutt as well. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, other than the cold, you won't at least have to contend with snow driving in today. And I guess if you work weekends, well, good luck, because it could be an interesting one for drivers. Let's get the very latest from our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun this weekend. I think the worst of it's probably going to be Saturday night into Sunday as the bulk of this two-piece storm system works its way through the area. But through it all, it is going to be bitterly cold. Temperatures are going in the wrong direction this morning, getting down into the low teens right now. We're expecting it to fall a few more degrees and kind of level off somewhere in the upper single numbers to around 10 this afternoon. And when you combine that with wind, which we've got plenty of, real field temperatures are going to be 10, 15, maybe even 20 below zero. Tonight, cloudy, frigid. Look for a touch of snow toward daybreak. I don't think it amounts to much toward morning, or low near zero. Tomorrow, intermittent snow. Roads are going to get snow covered and slippery, so that's when the troubles begin, the high 12. And then the snow picks up in intensity and regularity tomorrow night and lasts into Sunday before tapering off in the afternoon. At least 3 to 6 inches, especially north and west of Metro St. Louis. But I think from the city on south and east, it's more and more likely to see 6 to 10 inches with this. Dangerous and extremely difficult travel expected. Sunday's high 15. Behind it, it's not going to melt. 17 with sunshine Monday, maybe 30 on Tuesday with sunshine. 12 at St. Peter's. It's down to 11 in Florissant, partly cloudy, and 16 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I'm Joe Pott. We'll know the Super Bowl participants at the end of this weekend. I'll tell you about those games coming up in sports.
More news now at 6:42. It's almost unheard of for the oil industry and corn farmers to agree, but a plan to finally authorize year-round E15 gasoline sales had managed to unite them until the deal collapsed. Illinois Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski says the legislation, which was designed to save family farms by opening up summer markets for ethanol, was ready to go until GOP leadership pulled the plug.
We had a deal. It was a real compromise, but yet House Republicans couldn't get out of their own way. They just gave up and decided that assurances of a, quote, rural energy task force is enough to help our family farmers. Give me a break.
Budzinski says it was backed by corn growers, biofuel producers, and oil refiners, a coalition she says may not come together again.
Corn growers in the Show Me State say the collapse in D.C. sends a message about who leadership is actually listening to. Missouri Corn Growers President Brian Lehman released a statement accusing Congress of siding with, quote, a handful of large refineries instead of with American and Missouri farmers. Lehman points out that A bipartisan deal, which already included support from the oil industry, was already finished, making this delay a deliberate choice. He vows the association will continue fighting to break the gasoline blend wall despite this setback.
Even though Missouri budget officials have resolved a $250 million error, the state's funding formula still needs work. Alex Gribb reports the corrected budgeting error doesn't mean Missouri is running a significant surplus.
State Budget Director Dan Hogg introduced a nearly $3.3 billion supplementary budget on the same day he took responsibility for double counting more than $260 million in spending. Hogg's correction to the 2027 budget appeared to increase supplemental funds for the coming fiscal year, but he urged the Senate Appropriations Committee to not view the funds as spendable money.
The real issue with our budget right now is that our ongoing expenditures are more than our ongoing revenues. This error did not change either of those numbers.
Hogg's supplementary budget request includes more money for at-home nursing care, special education, and rural health. I'm Alex Gribb.
The Missouri Gaming Commission has denied a request from the NCAA to ban player prop bets. Ryan Butler with Covers.com says the NCAA believes these markets fundamentally threaten the safety of the game, but most sportsbook operators feel otherwise.
Their biggest argument, what they testified was, is that the only way to catch some of these bad actors is through the regulated market. And it actually, to their argument, that was one of the ways the Jonte Porter scandal, who played for the Raptors. That was through the legal sportsbook market. So that's the idea, is that if you do ban these, people are just going to turn to the offshores, which are still there. There are still hundreds available in Missouri of these unlicensed sites from, Curacao or Hong Kong or Vietnam. A lot of players can still access those. Or then you still, they're rare, but you still got that kind of, backroom bookie who will take the bets on this too.
So Missouri remains among 10 other states where these wagers remain explicitly allowed. It's 6:45.
And it's conference championship weekend in the NFL. The AFC will see the Patriots go to the Broncos. That's a 2:00 start Sunday afternoon. And the Patriots on the road are 4.5-point favorites in that one. In the NFC, it's the Rams playing on the road at Seattle. That one will be a 5:30 kickoff Sunday night. The Seahawks are favored by 2.5 in that one. Of course, the winners will meet in the Super Bowl February 8th in San Francisco. Now, more Baseball Hall of Fame debate. We'll hear from Bernie Michaelis as he gets fired up on this subject. Everybody wants to hear Bernie get fired up, right? Yesterday on the Gas House Gang, he was asked about putting Carlos Beltran in the Hall of Fame despite his involvement in the Astros 2017 cheating scandal.
I mentioned the other day, and I know some really dislike me for this, but I think the Hall of Fame is a museum, and I treat it as a museum. And the reason I gave up my Hall of Fame vote is because I didn't want to be a security guard for the Hall of Fame. In other words, if my policy is this, but the commissioner at the time looked at all these players who either did use PEDs or were suspected of using PEDs or did some other things like Carlos Beltran, where is part of a pretty scandalous cheating ring that helped the Astros win the World Series. If you invalidate their stats and you basically erase their numbers, well, then I'll be happy to go along with that. But it's not my job to be the mall cop, the security guard, the guardian at the gate, defending the morality of a baseball museum. So that's my view, and I'm pretty entrenched in it. So yeah, Carlos Beltran had a hell of a career, very worthy of the Hall of Fame. And the voters, what they did to make themselves feel better about voting for a guy who cheated, because of course you can't have cheaters in the Hall of Fame, except maybe we'll make some exceptions. What they did, they didn't vote for him on the first time he was on the ballot. They didn't give him any votes. That was their punishment.
That's Bernie Michaelis from yesterday's Gas House Gang program. You can hear that entire show and much more from Bernie Michaelis and all of his passionate thoughts on KMOX.com. Our next sports update comes up at 7:15. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER Click Grainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Two legendary bands, one massive night of classic rock. Foreigner, performing the songs that defined a generation. You're as cold as ice. And Leonard Skinner, bringing Southern rock anthems to St. Louis. Foreigner, Leonard Skinner, coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater August 6th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. Life happens. Accidents, deaths. Make your estate plan now, or the courts will decide for you later. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Now, the news. At 1, the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
At 6:50, we head back now to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger Brand, how's it look out there?
Well, it's a pretty easygoing Friday morning so far, Megan. I mean, everything's light and on the go for you with pretty much all the routes with, a little bit of a delay in the work zones. This traffic report is a service of Eamon Gantner Capriano. Just 55 is the only place seeing a little bit of a delay, and it really doesn't look that bad now. The little delay we had is almost thinned out. It's just kind of busy going through Weber. Earlier, I was seeing some brake lights, so that's in better shape. And the rest of these highways are great. Again, light and on the go. I mean, eastbound 70 and 64, southbound 61 coming in from out west in Wentzville. Look great across the Missouri River bridges. 55 down at Festus. You're okay. 270 both ways at Ladue. Looks good north. 270 from 55 to Ladue, no issue. And downtown, we're still clear westbound across the Poplar and Mutual Veterans Bridges, so we continue to cruise along. I don't know, maybe some folks are planning ahead for the weather and maybe not even getting out today. We'll see, but very easy going for if you do need to get somewhere right now. Roads are quiet. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, we're looking at a very, very cold day today. We're maybe going to get to 10 degrees, but it's going to feel like it's 5 to 15 below for much of the day. And the cold weather advisory and the winter storm warning both kick in at midnight. The snow starts tomorrow, and we're looking at anywhere from 3 to 10 inches, depending on where you are and how this front moves through. Currently in downtown St. Louis, it is 14 degrees, feels like 3 below.
The news continues at 6:51. It's something that happens each winter when accumulation predictions are for more than just a few inches of snow. So we asked, when does the panic to buy snow shovels start?
I spoke with Gary Ripper of Southside True Value Hardware, who says that the panic has not come yet, but it will soon.
Some folks are waiting until almost the last second whenever they'll wait for that final forecast.
He says on their end, preparing can be tough. And sometimes you can buy too many shovels.
This wasn't really on anybody's radar until about a week ago. So you can't really purchase too much in advance or else you get stuck with it if the storm system misses you entirely.
In South City, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A St. Louis man will spend the rest of his life behind bars for a May 2023 shooting in St. Peters that killed one and injured 2 others. St. Charles County Prosecuting Attorney Joe McCullough says a judge sentenced 53-year-old Christopher Harper on Thursday.
A jury found Harper guilty last October of first-degree murder, 3 counts of assault and burglary. 57-year-old Darren Ghost-John died in the attack. Prosecutor McCullough says in a written statement that reads in part, quote, Harper showed the cold-hearted person he is when he carried out this execution. He will never be a threat to society again, close quote.
It's going to have positives and negatives. Overall, it will generally benefit higher income people more than lower income people.
That's Sarah Narkowitz from the Low Income Taxpayer Clinic at Washington University, commenting on the Missouri governor's push to scrap the state's income tax and seek to replace that revenue through sales and service taxes. She says it may attract more population and business to Missouri, but cause a burden to those who have tight budgets at home.
Sales tax is a regressive tax, which means that if I make a lesser amount of income, I still have to buy goods. I have to eat, I have to buy clothing, etc. And so those sorts of taxes take up a bigger percentage of your income if you're lower income.
An 8-story office tower in downtown West now completely empty. The Business Journal reports the building at 1831 Chestnut Street has lost its final 2 tenants. Momentum Worldwide moved its 110 employees out to St. Charles, while public relations firm Weber Shandwick has transitioned its staff to fully remote work. The departure leaves the 420,000 square foot building vacant after Anthem's exit last year.
It is now 6:53 and birthdays are on the way.
At Johns Hopkins, I'm Elizabeth Tracy.
Certain hormone therapies for menopause have had black box warnings on them since 2003, following concerns arising from the Women's Health Initiative study, which seemed to show increased risks for breast cancer and dementia. Now the FDA has removed these warnings, citing flaws in the studies. Wen Shen, a menopause expert at Johns Hopkins, says reality is still more complicated.
Menopause hormone therapy is very much of a nuanced thing that has to be individualized to every woman. Every new patient that comes to me for menopause consultation, I spend an hour on, but that's what it takes. If it's a new patient that I've never met before, I need to know everything about her medical history in order to safely recommend the menopause treatment, or if she even needs menopause treatment.
Shen says women need to see someone with experience who will consider her individual circumstances. At Johns Hopkins, I'm Elizabeth Tracy.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Today's KMOX birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Celebrity birthdays for this Friday, January 23rd, include retired airline pilot Chesley Sully Sullenberger. He's the Miracle on the Hudson pilot, 75 years old today. Rock singer Robin Zander of Cheap Trick, 73. Princess Caroline of Monaco is 69 years old. Anita Baker, singer, 68. Actor Mariska Hargitay is 62. Hockey Hall of Famer, this is a familiar name here in St. Louis, Brendan Shanahan. He is 57 years old. And CBS News senior correspondent Nora O'Donnell, 52.
Local celebrity birthdays include Jane Gabatz, Kathy Nesbitt, Jana Thornton, Wendy Hofer, Allison Essner, Suzanne Corbett, Marty K. Casey, Jane Higgins, and happy birthday to Emily Pott from Joe.
This is the best birthday ever.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey guys, are you dealing with low energy, weight gain, or issues in the bedroom? Well, Game Day Men's Health is the premier men's health clinic in the St. Louis area with locations in Chesterfield and O'Fallon, Missouri. They specialize in low testosterone and sexual health, but they also help men and women with medical weight loss, vitamins, and peptides. They offer free consultations and testosterone tests with results in about 20 minutes. So get in, get answers, and get back to the top of your game with Game Day Men's Health. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
For residential and commercial heating repairs, service, maintenance, or installation, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. With over 50 years of HVAC service, get in your comfort zone this winter. Visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day.
French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Let's get you to work on time this morning. Roger Brand will help. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, not too much to be concerned about there on the highways right now, Megan. Like I said, every once in a while we get a stall popping up westbound 70 at West Florissant. Looks like all lanes are open. That one's on the shoulder, so every once in a while we get those, but they clear them quickly. And again, we're building volume, but this time of day we sort of get into a lull. And right now we look good. I don't even see the delays right now. Northbound 55 that we're seeing north of Bayless up to River de Pere. That's all thin. That looks good down at Festus. North 270 from there up through Ladue looks good. Coming in southbound 61 on to eastbound 64 and 70 from out west. Okay, we're still clear westbound downtown across the Poplar. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Friday, the 23rd of January. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Sean Malone. The winter storm this weekend is giving St. Louis flashbacks to last year's snowplow disaster. How will they avoid repeating the same mistakes? I'm Sean Malone with that story coming up.
I'm Megan Lynch.
The Missouri Gaming Commission defies the NCAA when it comes to college player prop bets. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Clouds, some sun, breezy, and turning sharply colder today. Temperatures tumble into the single digits this morning. It'll hold close to 10 this afternoon.
I'm Joe Pott. The 24th ranked Billikens are back at it tonight, and you can hear that one on KMOX. We'll talk some Billikens basketball coming up in sports.
ICE detains a 5-year-old boy in Minnesota. The latest from CBS News.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour. Your home for original reporting.
All starts here in Colorado with energy that's coming through the Southern Rockies that will get into the plains today, and that will trigger everything with that cold air that's pouring down into the lower 48, really the eastern 2/3 of the country.
CBS's Jason Allen is in north central Texas.
We're starting with a light rain here this morning in Fort Worth, and we've also got some dense fog. It's blocking out the Fort Worth skyline. They're going to start closing down some of the express lanes on the highways here as the temperatures begin to drop this afternoon.
Correspondent Chris Van Cleve is at the airport in Arizona.
Already, we've seen more than 400 flights canceled for today. That number is going to get significantly bigger.
Of one of the people arrested for organizing an anti-ICE protest at a church in Minnesota.
Civil rights attorney Nakima Levy-Armstrong was one of 3 protest organizers the FBI arrested Thursday. An original photo showed Armstrong in handcuffs with a calm look on her face. The White House posted a digitally altered version that shows her sobbing with tears running down her face. After a flood of complaints on social media, the White House acknowledged the altered photo was a meme. A digital forensics expert tells CBS News it's getting harder for the public to trust anything the White House shares online. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
There's a court hearing today in the case of a father and his 5-year-old son detained by ICE agents. A day after President Trump met with Volodymyr Zelensky, the Russia-Ukraine war is at the top of the agenda in the Middle East.
U.S., Ukrainian, and Russian negotiators are beginning 2 days of trilateral talks in Abu Dhabi. Speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, Ukrainian President Zelensky said he was hopeful about an end to the nearly 4-year-old war.
We are in a difficult situation, but Russians also in a difficult situation.
He said both sides need to compromise, not, he said, just Ukraine.
God bless. The war will stop. I hope so.
Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
New stats on cancer. CBS's Michael George.
Cancer death rates for Americans under 50 are on the decline. A study published in JAMA found every type of cancer-related death is declining except for one, colorectal cancer, which is now the leading cancer death in people under 50. Breast cancer and leukemia death rates are also down.
This is
Follow and listen to the official 48 Hours After Show post-mortem on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend
You're listening to Total Information AM, and the temperature continues to drop. It's now 13 degrees, feels like 4 below. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. She's calling it a three-piece storm. KMOX AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Well, the Arctic air is now moving in. That's the first piece in this the two-piece storm system. It's really three pieces. Often lightens up. It may even stop for a few hours late tomorrow afternoon and evening, but later tomorrow night it will pick up as that second piece of energy comes in from the south and west, and that will produce steadier and somewhat heavier snows throughout the area tomorrow night into the day on Sunday. It should wind down late in the afternoon. We're expecting at least 3 to 6 inches, especially in the north and northwest suburbs, and probably 6 to 10 inches near and just to the south and east of the city. A slight shift in the storm track could bring those higher totals right into the downtown areas. And of course, through it all with the extremely cold temperatures, this is going to mean some very slow, treacherous travel conditions, even beyond the storm. This snow is not going to melt the first part of next week. It's going to stay very, very cold.
The mayor of St. Louis calling for patience as city residents may be uneasy about the approaching winter storm.
Mayor Kara Spencer campaigned heavily on improving city services and doing the basics like plowing the streets. She emphasized her goals are the roads the city has always done. Pressed on how residents without driveways can avoid their cars being trapped behind mounds of ice when the city's plows pass. Mayor Spencer says they're still working that out.
This is a learning opportunity for all of us. We recognize that there are not places outside of your street for most residents to park. And so as we go through this and start to enter those residential, we're going to be working through kinks this year.
Spencer hopes to have more information on the city's new pilot program, providing salt to residents in the coming days before the snow arrives. Outside St. Louis City Hall, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Drivers across Missouri are being warned that clearing the roads will be a slower process than usual during this storm. MoDOT Director Ed Hassinger explains that the extreme drop in temperature will neutralize their primary tool for
Financial group KFGadvisors.com. Bridge Bread is opening a second location. The nonprofit social enterprise bakery has been a staple on Cherokee Street since 2011 and will open next weekend on Skinker and at Delmar. Bridge provides employment, job training, and housing assistance to people experiencing homelessness.
The new location will give its bakers instruction in advanced artisanal baking skills as well as management training. The new location will rely heavily on foot traffic, offering fresh baked goods, coffee, and other beverages.
We'll take another look at the roadways and the weather next. Stay with us here on Total Information AM. It's 7:07.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-990-1551. That's 800-990-1551.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-549-1238 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-549-1238. That's 800-549-1238. What do you have to lose? Call 800-549-1238. Again, 800-549-1238.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
7:10. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, interstates continue to cruise along, Megan. There's nobody's gonna be complaining about anything on the highways in the immediate metro area right now. Quiet, quick, and on the go. It may be cold, but at least you're not going to spend a lot of time in your car. You'll make good time getting wherever you need to go. Right now, we are in great shape. I'm not seeing delays even in the work zones. 55 at Festus, north of Bayless, 270 north of 64 to Ladue, 70 come in from out Warrenton area through Wright City. Everything's good to go. Southbound 61 on to eastbound 64 and 70 from Wentzville, still clear, and it looks great on the Illinois side. Westbound headed into downtown across Poplar and usual Veterans Bridges. Even Route 3 is okay coming up through Sauget so far. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, a cold weather advisory from midnight tonight through noon tomorrow. A winter storm warning from midnight tonight through 6 p.m. Sunday. Intervals of clouds and sun today, breezy and turning much colder. Temperature will fall into the single digits this morning and then hold nearly steady, not far from 10 this afternoon. AccuWeather real field temperatures drop to 5 to 15 below. Rather cloudy and frigid tonight. There can be a bit of snow toward daybreak, the low not far from 0. Tomorrow, cloudy and quite cold with some snow. Roads will become snow-covered and slippery, the high 12. That snow continues at varying rates tomorrow night into Sunday. Snow can accumulate 3 to 6 inches, with 6 to 10 inches more likely just south and east of the city. Sunday's high 15. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now it is 13 degrees, feels like 4 below.
I'm Joe Pott. We'll talk some Billikens basketball. They play this afternoon here on KMOX. We'll talk about them in sports.
It's 7:11. As road conditions deteriorate over the weekend, the Missouri State Highway Patrol is asking drivers to weigh the importance of their trip against the potential cost. Captain Scott White.
No appointment, no errand, and no activity is worth risking your life or risking the lives of others or any of us.
The Jay's biannual used book sale has changed up its weekend schedule due to the weather. The VIP preview has been moved to tomorrow morning from 8 to 10 because the sale is now closed on Sunday. Now, Monday will be the official opening day of the popular book sale at the St. Louis Jewish Community Center.
AAA in Missouri expecting a rash of calls as temperatures plummet.
Nick Chabaria is in AAA's St. Louis office.
The number one reason that people call AAA in the wintertime for assistance are for dead or disabled batteries.
He says that's because
when the temperature drops below freezing, your vehicle's battery can lose about a third of its starting power.
He says before the temperature drops, test your vehicle battery if it's 3 years old and replace it if it's 5 years old. He also reminds electric vehicle owners the bitter cold can reduce an EV's range. Sue Danielson, Missouri Net.
One person is dead and 2 others injured following an early Thursday crash in Clinton County east of Carlisle. Illinois State Police say the car went off a stretch of old U.S. Route 50 and overturned. No names have been publicly released, but traffic was diverted for more than 5 hours.
Illinois fares much better than Missouri in several areas on a new ranking of America's healthiest states.
Illinois was found to be the 23rd healthiest state in the nation, compared to Missouri finishing near the bottom at number 40. According to Smart Asset's annual report on America's healthiest states. The Illinois obesity rate is 33%, while in Missouri it's 37%. 78% of Illinois adults exercise regularly, compared to 76% in Missouri. Illinois has a much lower smoking rate too, 13% compared to Missouri's 18%. Nationally, Utah is the healthiest state, while West Virginia is the least healthy. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The Missouri Gaming Commission decides against an immediate ban on college player prop bets.
The NCAA had requested the prohibition on individual stat wagers, like on points or rebounds, to protect athletes from harassment. But sportsbooks testified that blocking legal bets would only fuel the black market, where scandals go undetected. Ryan Butler with Covers.com says the commission's hesitation ultimately came down to timing.
The commission, after kind of some brief discussion, said it's a little really too early to make a definitive call on this. It was really there was 3 commissioners. They really just expressed a little bit, still trying to feel everything out. Sports betting has only been legal in Missouri for about 6 or 7 weeks now. So the idea was that they're going to kind of pass on taking any action at the moment, but they will reconsider it in the future.
Missouri is one of 10 states to allow these bets, while 15 others have banned them entirely. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It's okay to order in and not feel guilty. I'm Cooper Lawrence, health and wellness expert. This is all well and good. Treating yourself to a food delivery hits different whether you've had a great day or an absolute nightmare at work. A new study in Frontiers in Psychology had 280 people imagine good, bad, or average work days, then asked what they treat themselves to: delivery, chocolate, booze, bubble baths, or online shopping. Turns out, someone else making dinner and bringing it was the only indulgence people craved, no matter what kind of day they had. Ordering in offers a double win. You get a tasty meal without the hassle of cooking. But researchers warn that getting too used to food delivery is not great for your health. So, moderation, of course. I'm Cooper Lawrence, and this is all well and good.
Well, this afternoon, the Billikens are back on KMOX.
Puts it on the floor. Lobs to Robbie. Tough play. Layup good. Oh, my. El Paso de Avila. Eslinto Pero. Aplastante. How did he make that play, Earl?
And in one motion, able to
almost
put
go
it in the
for
basket. Yes.
That's from last week's win at Duquesne. St. Louis is at St. Bonaventure this afternoon. It'll be a 4:30 Central Time tip-off. The 24th ranked Billikens are 18-1 overall and one of 2 teams with a perfect record in Atlantic 10 play. Billikens and George Washington both 6-0 in the league. George Washington, by the way, will be at Chaffetz Arena on Tuesday. You can hear today's game at St. Bonaventure beginning with the pregame show at 4:15 right here on KMOX with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. Dr. Richard Chaffetz, of course, a big booster of Billiken basketball, spoke with Martin Kilcoyne from our partners at Fox 2 and he was asked about what it means for this team to be nationally ranked.
You get more visibility. I think there are some quiet, kind of fans that will now come out of the woodwork. And I think you'll start to see people get more excited to see what many will consider a Cinderella team, a Cinderella story, given where we've come over the last few years to where we are today. So this is an easy team to like. They play hard. They're unselfish. We got a lot of scorers. They gel well. There's a lot of great chemistry. Josh is an interesting and fun to watch coach. So I think you're going to see the fan base expand dramatically, and it's great for the university.
Again, that's Dr. Chaffetz from Fox 2. Last night, SIUE knocks off Tennessee State 74-66 in Edwardsville. Lindenwood beat up on Tennessee Tech 89-68 in St. Charles. Those 2 teams will trade places. SIUE will have Tennessee Tech tomorrow in Edwardsville, while Lindenwood will face Tennessee State in St. Charles. The Blues wrap up their 3-game road trip tonight, and they've dropped each of the first 2 games on the trip, falling 5-0 at Edmonton Sunday and 3-1 at Winnipeg on Tuesday. Tonight, the Blues are in Dallas to face the Stars. It's the second of 4 matchups this season, and they're going to play them 2 more times in the next couple of weeks. The Blues won the first meeting this season, and they're 3-2-3 in their last 8 games against the Dallas Stars. Blues start tonight 8th in the Central, 46 points, while the Stars are now 3rd in the Central Division with 65 points. The Stars trail Minnesota by 2 for 2nd and Colorado by 12 for the top spot in the Central Division. The puck drops at 7, and tonight's the first of back-to-back games because the Blues will be at home tomorrow night to take on the LA Kings at Enterprise Center. Next sports update is 7:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina, your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
For nearly 4 decades, no one shaped KMOX more than Robert Hyland. When he took over as general manager, Hyland transformed KMOX into the nation's first major all-talk radio station with At Your Service.
I think it's been a vehicle, it's been a forum for people, and it's brought people closer. That's what we're trying to do, air the views so we can put them out on the table and then dissect them and talk about them among ourselves and also with the experts and so-called experts on At Your Service.
He built KMOX into the sports voice of St. Louis, securing partnerships with the Cardinals, Blues, Football Cardinals, and Mizzou, and turning the station into a national powerhouse. A tireless leader, Robert Hyland turned KMOX into what CBS founder William Paley called the jewel in the CBS crown. Robert Hyland, a KMOX pioneer.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
This is Harry Carey from the beautiful new Busch Memorial Stadium.
From moment to memory.
The case is on.
Among those voices, Bruce Bradley.
I felt better when Jimmy Carter was president, knowing that Rosalind Carter was around saying, now, Jimmy.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Looking for your dream home in Wentzville? Welcome to Sutton Farms by Lombardo Homes, where community and comfort come together. Enjoy resort-style living with a private clubhouse, indoor courts, a splash pad, sand volleyball, walking trails, and even a dog park. Design your own custom home in our Parkside, Nature, or Tradition series, all within the top-rated Wentzville School District. Discover the perfect blend of small-town charm and modern convenience at Sutton Farms, located off Piney Road in Wentzville. Visit lombardohomes.com to learn more.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:20. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX with Debbie Monterrey. I'm Megan Lynch. Let's check your ride into work with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's still not bad, Megan. We're not quite at the peak time for rush hour yet, but normally we'd be seeing at least some slowdowns on the highways, and they really continue to look great as far as I'm concerned. We've had a couple of stalls, but again, they quickly clear on westbound 75th Street. They cleared one northbound 55 at Merrimack Bottom. They moved one to the shoulder. 55 looks good down in the work zone at Festus and north of Bayless. 270 through 64 Ladou's good. Southbound 61 on to eastbound 64 or 70 coming in from out Wentzville way. Still no issues there. And downtown, we're still good to go westbound across the bridges. So, again, light volume and easy going on the highways. No problems right now. So, we had an early morning crash on 44 westbound at Big Bend. And since then, just those few stalls they've been able to quickly clear. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is just the bitter cold. Tomorrow is when the snow begins, and it'll be bitter cold as well. Cold weather advisory kicks in at midnight, so does a winter storm warning. As far as today, it's just going to be clouds and sun, breezy with temperatures falling into the single digits, and it's going to feel like it's 5 to 15 below. Right now in downtown St. Louis, it is 13 degrees, feels like 4 below.
The news continues at 7:22. The grocery store aisles have been crowded as locals get ready for this weekend's snowstorm.
I'm Sean Malone in South City outside of Schnucks, trying to find out what St. Louisans are bulking up on at the grocery store to get themselves through this storm. I just want to know what you're stocking up on ahead of the winter storm.
Junk food.
Junk food? What kind of junk food? Anything good?
Eggs.
Eggs isn't junk food.
Well, I mean, milk, bread, eggs, chips.
So everything you need for French toast then.
Sounds like a good one.
What did you guys stock up on ahead of the winter storm?
Alcohol. Dog food and chips.
Extreme cold temperatures can be a serious health risk. Missouri Net's Bill Pollock spoke with Dr. Heidi Miller, Chief Medical Officer for the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, about what can lead to frostbite.
Frostbite also depends on the temperature, the wind chill, which is the impact that the wind has in making the body even cooler because it blows away the warm natural heat from the body. And how much someone is wearing and whether or not they have covered up their extremities. Areas of the body that are most likely to experience frostbite are the ears, nose, fingers, and toes. And those areas can be covered up. And specifically, we have to be very careful that people don't get wet when they are out in the cold, because the combination of water and cold can lead to frostbite even more.
Dr. Miller, what does frostbite look like? What do we look for?
When someone is developing frostbite, they can feel numbness, tingling, stinging. The appearance of their fingers can change just depending on their skin color. If their skin is of a lighter tone, they may see some pinkness initially and maybe blue and purple. For darker skin tones, there may be some paleness of the skin or graying of the skin. It can also have a wax-like appearance. And the stinging and discomfort is the early signs. Numbness later is even more alarming. And it's important, first of all, for us to just prevent it, to do everything we can to make sure that someone is not accidentally exposed to cold weather for hours at a time outside without being protected, without checking and getting warm. And if someone does develop frostbite or a concern about frostbite, they need to warm up, exit the cold exposure. And it's actually important that the skin be dry. So if there's any wet clothing or wet exposure, that wet clothing be removed. That's true for hypothermia and for frostbite. And that warming should be done in a dry way, but also a gradual way. With frostbite in particular, if somebody warms up way too quickly, or if they expose their frostbitten fingers to an extreme heat or to the heat of a fire or an electric heater, that can actually cause more skin damage. So it's important to warm up gradually and to absolutely seek medical attention for hypothermia and for frostbite injuries.
That is Dr. Heidi Miller, Chief Medical Officer for the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services.
Some 40 U.S. states are expecting to have impact from the big winter storm. Airlines are bracing for cancellation. CBS News senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve is at the Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport in Arizona.
Nearly every airline in the country has travel waivers up that allow people to make changes to their reservation without any additional fee to avoid this storm. And even after the storm moves through, it's the bitter cold that's going to linger, and that could create problems not only for the airlines, but for people on the roads.
The White House posting an altered photo of one of the people arrested for organizing an anti-ICE protest at a Minnesota church.
ICE out! ICE out! Civil rights attorney Nakima Levy-Armstrong was one of 3 protest organizers the FBI arrested Thursday. An original photo showed Armstrong in handcuffs with a calm look on her face. The White House posted a digitally altered version that shows her sobbing with tears running down her face. After a flood of complaints on social media, the White House acknowledged the altered photo was a meme. A digital forensics expert tells CBS News it's getting harder for the public to trust anything the White House shares online. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
It's now 7:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. A question I get all the time is, how did we become the largest injury firm in the world? We have over 1,000 lawyers in all 50 states and close to 6,000 coworkers. Our call center is on duty 24/7. You can reach us at any time at forthepeople.com. But the real reason is we won a lot. When you visit our website, go to our verdicts and settlements. There you will see what our clients were offered and what they were awarded at trial. All those verdicts help us resolve many cases fairly and early. You see, nothing beats reputation. The insurance industry knows who we are. We even have insurance adjusters call us for representation because they know too. We've made it easy. On your mobile device or computer, go to forthepeople.com and we will get busy. It's that easy. Call today. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, it's Glover. Right now, buy 4 windows and get 4 free and 0% financing for 60 months, $1,000 off, plus a bonus vacation voucher. Restrictions apply. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Okay, I don't want to be mean, but if you're a guy and you just have a grimy, multiple times refilled bottle of Dial that's got the crusty soap on the outside, that's a red flag.
What if you just have a bar of Dial soap with no soap dish?
I never like the bar of soap.
What if you have one bar of soap and you take it from the shower to the sink, back to the shower? How would you feel good about going to that guy's house?
Oh my gosh, I think I would just leave without saying anything.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, weekdays at 9 on KMOX. Bitter cold temperatures and accumulating snow is about to descend on the St. Louis region this weekend.
Wind-driven snow with bitter cold temperatures.
Stay up to date with the latest forecasts and what you need to know to keep you and your family safe from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Storm Center on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:30. And you're listening to Total Information AM. Right now it is 13 degrees, feels like 4 below. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. Doesn't seem like it's been too crazy this Friday morning on the roads, but let's get the latest from Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's been very quiet, Megan. You're right. We continue to cruise along. We're getting close to the heart of the rush hour, usually around 7:40s when we reach our peak. And right now there's a little volume, but boy, it's just not bad. I mean, northbound 270, you've got a little bit of volume north of Doherty Ferry to Manchester, and then the right lanes up approaching Clayton Road look like they're slowing a bit. Eastbound 64 looks a little heavy right through 141. Westbound 64 through Richmond Heights coming out from Hampton to Hanley. We normally would see slow traffic there. Nothing like that right now. It looks great. Northbound 55 down. Festus Way's okay. Back to seeing a little bit of a slowdown north of Bayless up to River to Pear. And downtown, we're still good to go. Westbound across the Poplar and Muswell Veterans Bridges, Illinois interstates are lightly occupied all the way around. And coming in from out Wentzville area, no delays on 64 or 70 either. Next update is 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today, we have to deal with the bitter cold. Tomorrow is when the snow begins. And tomorrow, we're looking at anywhere from 3 to 10 inches of snow, depending on where you are in the listening area. The cold weather advisory and the winter storm warning both kick in at midnight tonight. So we're just going to see the temperature continuing to drop. It's already dropped about 4 degrees since earlier this morning. We'll be at about 10 degrees, but it's going to feel like anywhere from 5 to 15 below much of the day. Right now it's 13 degrees, feels like 4 below.
More now from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Storm Center. With those temperatures dropping to single digits, the city expanding its homeless shelter capacity.
St. Louis City Director of Health and Human Services, Adam Pearson, says they are activating Code Blue Level 4, which means overnight shelters will remain open longer.
Shelters that typically would release people in the morning would stay open during the daytime at a level 4 because it is so cold.
The city will be activating an additional 600 emergency shelter beds, bringing the total to 1,000. Unhoused individuals can contact 211 to get connected with transportation to the closest shelter. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
I'm Michael Calhoun. Everybody wants to know where the snow accumulation could be the most severe. National Weather Service meteorologist Melissa Delia says while it's still uncertain for those in the north, the southern half of the state is for sure in the crosshairs.
We're expecting the heaviest snowfall and greatest impacts to occur in southern Missouri, south of I-70.
She also says, remember, the cold will be dangerous regardless of when the snow falls.
The current St. Louis County Library branch in Chesterfield was recently renovated, but library president and CEO Kristen Sorth says it's just not big enough, especially with all the new homes being built around it. So it will close at the end of the month, be torn down, and replaced with a much bigger library.
We're going to have a coffee shop there. So Goshen Coffee, which has a couple shops in Illinois, but also has one in Soulard. We'll have a coffee cafe there.
It'll have areas for small children, older kids, teens, a bigger community space. The new branch will be named after Guy and Judy Jaffe, who donated $1 million for the project.
Kids Smart, a St. Louis nonprofit that distributes educational resources to underserved communities, has received its largest ever gift, $3 million from Enterprise Mobility Foundation. Kids Smart says the donation will allow expansion of their delivery fleet across Missouri. Over the past 25 years, Kids Smart has distributed more than $100 million in educational resources to pre-kindergarten through 12th grade students.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got your Money Minute coming up next.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
It's now 7:34, and it's time for your Money Report, sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Nestle is moving ahead with the sale of a stake in its $5.8 billion water business, which includes the well-known brands Perrier and Pellegrino. Nestle announced plans in late 2024 to separate its water business, which has long been considered a candidate for restructuring. Now the company is asking suitors to submit bids for the unit. Private equity has expressed interest in the business. It's been one wild week on Wall Street, even as a firestorm over President Trump's plan to annex Greenland has died down. Stock futures are heading for a lower open this Friday after yesterday's gains. The Dow jumped 307 points. And mortgage rates have inched up from a 3-year low. According to Freddie Mac, the average for a 30-year fixed loan is 6.09%. The potential trade war drove up yields for government bonds that guide home loans. High borrowing costs have held back buyers and sellers for years, and an upward climb might temper the recent optimism in the real estate industry. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the college is paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments. Through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The power of a professional tax strategy team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
Rush Hour Sports, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here.
Bernie Miklasz joins Rush Hour Sports tonight at 5 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It is now 7:38. Speaking to reporters Thursday aboard Air Force One, President Trump said a compromise is needed to bring an end to the Russia-Ukraine war.
Everybody's making concessions to get it done. Europe is going to be a part of it. It's going to be a part of it. Look, it's more for Europe than for me. I mean, I'm doing this more for Europe than for me. I'm doing it to save lives, number one. I'm doing it secondarily for Europe. I'm not doing it so much for the U.S. It doesn't affect us very much.
After meeting with world leaders in Switzerland, President Trump shifting his focus to domestic matters, including taking his economic agenda on the road ahead of the midterms. CBS's Weijia Jiang reports polling is down on Trump's second term so far.
A series of new polls shows most Americans are not satisfied with Trump's performance after 1 year in office. He lashed out on social media with several posts, writing fake and fraudulent polling should be virtually a criminal offense.
It is now 7:38, and you are listening to Total Information AM. We're going to get you caught up on traffic and weather, so stay with us here on the Voice of St. Louis.
I'm Larry Magid with the Connect Safely report. A friend of mine who is very smart, in fact has a doctorate degree, told me that she had just heard that the 25th Amendment was declared and that Donald Trump was removed as president. I asked her how she knew this, and she said she heard it from a very well-known TV commentator. It sounded suspicious to me, so I immediately turned on the news and saw nothing about this, and then did some research and found the audio that she was listening to in the car, which sounded like the commentator's voice. And of course, it was generated with AI, which makes it increasingly easy to clone someone's voice. So if my very well-educated friend could be fooled, so could many other people, which is why it's so important to always double-check what you hear or see before you share it or act on it. With the Connect Safely report, I'm Larry Magid for CBS News.
Let's get the latest on the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, just not much happening out there this morning. Megan, we're at the peak of the rush hour for a normal day on the morning commute. And northbound 55, the only thing we have is a slowdown from Bayless up to Loughborough. That's kind of busy, but usually it would be Union up to maybe Virginia. So, again, it's just a slowdown, not a jam. North 270 looks great as you ramp on from 55. There is slow traffic from about Doherty Ferry up to about Clayton Road, but then it sorts itself out as you get up to 64 in Ladue. South 270 coming down from 364 to Ladue. There's no issue there. Eastbound 70 looks great from, really Warrenton all the way across the Blanchette Bridge. Southbound 61's clear. A good run down onto 64. 64 is slow. Clarkson to about Timberlake. After that, it sorts itself out. There's just a little busy stretch around the bend at Clayton Warson, probably sun in your eyes. Westbound 64 has no delay. Hampton out through Hanley, so you look good there. 44 is great. Sometimes we see a little volume there, but none today. And downtown, we're still wide open westbound across the Poplar and Mutual Veterans Bridges. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
7:41, time for us to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. And I don't even know what to say at this point, but the weather is definitely the top story.
Hope you have some stuff to make some good soup or something like that. You're going to need something warm as you get hunkered down for the cold and the winter weather this weekend. The cold air has continued to pour in early this morning, Debbie, and we're down to about 10 degrees right now in parts of the area, and it's going to fall a bit more, then just kind of level off somewhere between 8 and about 12 for the rest of the day. We'll see some sunshine, but it's not going to do anything to warm us up, and the real feels are going to be 10, 15 below. Cloudy, frigid tonight. Could be a little snow toward daybreak. I don't think it's much, the overnight low near zero, but we'll get some snow throughout the day tomorrow. Probably a could of an inch or so, enough to make things very slippery, the high 12. But then the snow, the second piece comes through tomorrow night, continues into Sunday. That's when we'll get the bulk of the snow from the storm. 3 to 6 inches are storm total snowfall, but that's probably most likely in the north and northwest suburbs. I think from the city south and east, it may be more like 6 to 10 inches. And that's going to make things extremely difficult and treacherous for travel. Sunday's high 15, and behind it, it's not going to melt Monday. Even though sun returns, it's only going to stay up to about 17. We might make a run at 30 with sunshine on Tuesday. 10 at St. Peter's, 9 in Florissant, partly sunny, 13 downtown at the Arch. From the Sadiqa Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I hope people are driving to work. It's going to be a great sportscast. I've got Bernie Michaelis on a little bit of a rant, and I've got some great flashback audio that everybody's going to want to hear.
Thank you, Joe. It's now 7:42 and the news continues. It's not a technology show, but this year's St. Louis Auto Show is definitely tech heavy.
You've got electric vehicles, of course, that are still a big player in the marketplace. You've got plug-in electric hybrids. You've got all the technology that is in a vehicle, which basically makes it a rolling computer on wheels.
Doug Smith, Executive Vice President of the St. Louis Auto Dealers Association, says we're definitely in a new era of modernization for automobiles. The 2026 St. Louis Auto Show opened last night at America's Center downtown. It runs through Sunday.
KMOX's auto expert says cars are built better than they used to be, but the technology is making it harder for repair shops to keep up. Greg Damon, general manager at Sparks Tire and Auto in St. Charles, tells Total Information AM it requires constant training and investment in specialized equipment.
They keep putting more and more technology on some of these cars, and a lot of that stuff breaks. You're also seeing a lot of cars sit very low to the ground. So any type of snow or any debris on the road end up wreaking havoc on a lot of those sensors or stuff underneath the car where it will actually hit the bottom of the car.
Damon says one of the top technologies customers want, self-driving vehicles.
Illinois' senior U.S. senator says he's concerned the Trump administration's interest in Greenland may have irreparably damaged alliances that have kept the world safe for decades. WBBM political editor Jeff Buchholz reports.
The reliability of the United States as an ally to NATO is now in question.
Retiring Democratic Senator Dick Durbin is just back from Denmark, where he joined colleagues from both parties for days of conversations with local leaders about President Trump's expressed desire to take over Greenland.
There was a sense of anger as well as pain to think that the United States might in fact invade Greenland.
The president has backed away from a threat of military force to take the Danish territory, but Durbin says much is not known about what's next.
What is this so-called framework on the future of Greenland? And what is the involvement of the United States in that framework?
He says he'll talk next week with the other lawmakers on the trip to see what Congress can do to undo the damage he says the president has done to NATO. Jeff Buchholz, News Radio 105.9, WBBM.
It is 7:45.
Well, I promise you some good audio, more Baseball Hall of Fame debate. We start with Bernie Michaelis yesterday on the Gas House Gang, and he talks about the injustice to Jim Edmonds not being in the Hall of Fame and inconsistencies in the process itself.
Valid, because he didn't get 5%. I don't know how that happens. I just don't. Because he ranks very favorably among center fielders that are already in the Hall of Fame. And the other thing I don't understand, let me ask you this. It isn't the whole goal of the Hall of Fame to get the best players in, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully, the best all-around players in. Why should I care that Jim Rice played left field and he is compared to other left fielders who, many of whom couldn't field or run the bases very well? Why is it sort of held against Jim Edmonds because he played the more glamorous position, center field, where guys make all these great catches and everything? Do you think Jim Edmonds is a better player than Jim Rice? I'll answer the question. I mean, it's not even a debate. He's vastly superior to Jim Rice. So why is Jim Rice in the Hall of Fame? Well, why isn't Edmonds in the Hall of Fame? Does it matter that one guy played left field, the other guy played center field? Does anybody really think Jeff Kent was a better major league player than Jim Edmonds? I mean, seriously.
No. Kent is Kent's going in.
This is the inconsistency that I can't stand.
That's Bernie Michaelis from the Gas House Gang, and there is plenty more. You can hear the whole thing on KMOX.com. Conference Championship weekend in the NFL. The AFC has the Patriots at the Broncos, 2 o'clock on Sunday. New England is the favorite in that one, 4.5-point favorite on the road. In the NFC, it's the Rams. They're playing at Seattle. This one is a 5:30 start Sunday evening. The Seahawks are favored in this one, 2.5 points, the favorite in that one. Winners meet in the Super Bowl February 8th in San Francisco. So the Blues and Stars go at it tonight, 7 o'clock. Plus, it's Brendan Shanahan's birthday. So Frank Ladd dug up a doozy for us. Where were you 30 years ago tonight when this happened?
McCrimmon's down on the ice. Zomball. Here comes Shovelday. He'll be thrown out of the game. Shovelday. Now Joseph gets into it. Curtis Joseph grabs Shovelday, and the two goalies go at it head to head. And Joseph with 3 great rights to Shovelday. And we've got some terrific fights going on.
Of course, the great Ken Wilson. That one was from from an old YouTube video. That's what it would have sounded like, though, on Camo X and Channel 11 back in the day. The Blues won that game 4-3, by the way. Brendan Shanahan did have a goal in that game, and the list of penalties goes on for like 2 pages in that one. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW-1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
St. Louis, are you ready to go Hardy?
I woke up on the wrong side of the truck bed.
The country rock hitmaker behind Truck Bed. Wait in the truck and one beer. He's bringing his No Holds Barred live show to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater June 5th. With special guests Cameron Whitcomb and McCoy Moore. Hardy, live, loud, and unapologetic. One night only. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Going on 7:50, and we need to check the roadways and the weather. Let's start with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, not much to be concerned about in the area roads, Debbie. We've just had periodic stalls here and there. Northbound 270 past Manchester, northbound 270 at 70. They cleared one 170 southbound at Brentwood Boulevard. One's moved out of the way. So, again, these cold temperatures doesn't surprise me. We're getting stalls, but nothing lingering in the traffic lanes long enough to create anything more than normal delays. We just have that slow traffic northbound 55 north of Bayless up to River to Pear, north 270. A little slow down north of Gravois with the merge on traffic there. Doherty Fair up to Clayton Road slow. South 270 is a little busy approaching Ladue. Mentioned that stall at Brentwood. They cleared it reportedly just a moment ago. There's a backup, though, from Ladue to the Parkway, and then it's just slow down to Brentwood. So, again, that's getting better. Seeing a little delay eastbound 364 just east of Highway K into Gudamuth, so be careful there. Eastbound 64 and eastbound 70 from out Wentzville Way and through the 270 interchanges are fine, and downtown we're still clear. Westbound across the Poplar and Mutual Veterans Bridges. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Storm Center, a cold weather advisory kicks in at midnight tonight, and then a winter storm warning from midnight tonight through 6 p.m. Sunday. We're expecting clouds and sun today. The temperature is already falling into the single digits, and we're going to be not far from 10 degrees this afternoon. AccuWeather real field temperatures are going to be from 5 to 15 below. Right now, we do have 10 degrees downtown at the Arch. Real feel -6.
Next time somebody says St. Louis, what's St. Louis got?
Oh, it's the time when we usually roam, and we are roaming, sort of, with Scott Jagow. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, I thought it would be nice to appreciate the depth of this segment over the last 3.5 years and the diversity that St. Louis brings. I mean, I came up with the idea. It's not a new idea. Just go around your town and highlight places. But that little clip, that is Jack Buck from the 1970s. I don't think I could find that clip again where he's like, St. Louis, what does St. Louis got? But I found it, and then I paired it with that song, and it just kind of just all came together. So I have been to more than now 150 places in St. Louis.
That is
St. Louis
wild.
region. So I'm very happy about that. And I've had a great time doing it. I started in September of 22. The first place I went, and it was just because it was a place that I went regularly, which
well, I'm here. Let's do a story.
Yes, it's kind of like that. I just went up to the owner and said, hey, what do you think about this? It was LeGrand's Deli over in St. Louis Hills. I love their sandwiches. It's a great little shop. And, you know, at lunchtime on a weekday, you're standing in line. So I was like, this place is cool. It's got to have a story. And that's really the concept. Every one of these places has a story behind it. Even some of them you think, how are you going to come up with a story? Every person who owns a business, every place that is operating has a story behind it. So I've been on boats, lots of restaurants, cinemas, airports, museums. Listen to some of these museums. One of the ones that hit me the hardest was the Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum.
Everybody should go. There are people who still don't know it exists. Go.
I definitely was. My voice was shaking. I was a little bit in tears when I was actually doing the interview. Yes, everyone should go to that museum. But we have all these little other museums that people might not know about. There's the Telephone Museum, which is fascinating.
It is.
In Jefferson Barracks. The Moto Museum just down the street here with motorcycles. The Economy Museum at the Federal Reserve, which was way more interesting than it sounds. The Miniature Museum, which sounds awesome. And
I love it. It's bizarre.
It's bizarre. It is lots of tiny things. The City Museum, of course, the International Hall of Fame and Photography Museum, the National Museum of Transportation. We have that. We have the National Blues Museum. We have a Neon Museum. So I've been to all those. But then I also would drive by places like the Preston Art Glass Studio. I just drove by it and I thought, art glass, cutting glass. I just thought, oh, that's kind of, I want to learn about that. So I just stopped in and said, hey, are you interested in this? And of course they are. They want it's free publicity for them. But it was so amazing to sit there and watch them do it and talk about it. I went to a violin maker's place. I went to Saratoga Lanes in Maplewood, one of the only upstairs bowling alleys left in the United States. One of my favorites was sitting on a blanket at Lafayette Park with Nene Harris, who's written more than one book, but her latest book at that time was about St. Louis parks. Nene, thanks for hanging out with me on this blanket.
Oh, it is a joy to be in this beautiful spot that is so historic. This is the first park west of the Mississippi and was created very early in the park movement.
Nene's wealth of knowledge could fill volumes.
I mean, we were literally sitting on the ground doing an interview on the blanket, and it was raining. It was pretty cool. Another place that I wanted to highlight was J Gravity Strings in Soulard. So Jimmy Gravity is the guy who fixes the guitars. He's been doing it for 50 years. He's worked on some 70,000 guitars. Here's a clip from that.
Jimmy has worked on some 70,000 guitars in his lifetime. Some of them played on stage by people like Tom Petty and Jackson Browne. Now he was working on mine.
Well, what are you doing right now to my guitar?
Well, your nut was a little low.
I hate to hear that.
So I took the nut out. We're going to clean up the slot, and we're going to raise that nut a little bit.
He's a character, and I met a lot of characters along the way doing this. I've met a lot of people. I went to the Arcaden Micro Cinema, which was really cool. I ended up going to an event there later on. So it's just a little tiny theater, and they show films throughout the week. There's also people with national reputations, like a cookie shop in St. Charles, Clementine's ice cream made by Leah Bakery and Florissant. So,
well, this weekend you probably won't be roaming as much as talking about the weather.
Yeah, from the Storm Center, the Saliga Heating and Cooling Storm Center. I will be all over it on Sunday morning.
Well, it has been fun roaming with you, and I know Joe Pott lives for it.
I enjoy it. It's been it's a lot of fun.
Well, we'll keep going. Let's see if we can get to 200 soon.
It is 7:57.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
You know Graybar for electrical parts, but there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Graybar does that.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hardworking, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
My Lowe's Pro Rewards members go big during Lowe's Pro Savings Days. Get member volume discounts plus an extra 5% off eligible orders with a quote of $2,000 or more. Plus, buy more and save more with up to 25% off DWV pipes when you spend $250 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 123. Exclusions, more terms, and restrictions apply. Can't be combined with any contract or special pricing. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit the Pro Desk or Lowe's.com/terms for more details. Subject to change.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. Our family's called the Saliga family for 18 years, and we are grateful for Saliga's honesty, knowledge, and professionalism. They're the best. For more info, visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Let's see how things are moving on the roads. Hopefully it's been smooth going for you this morning. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's still pretty good out there, Megan. Only a couple of issues, just slowdowns. North 270, Manchester, midway up to Clayton Road, right at 64 is a little busy. Eastbound 64 and westbound 64 at the North 170 ramps, a little heavy there. Minor crash reported eastbound 70 at 370. That's on the shoulder and out of the way. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A massive winter storm that'll affect half the population of the U.S. has just begun forming across the Southwest, moving into Texas and the central southern plains. This woman in Chicago is bracing for sub-zero temperatures.
Layers, layers, and more layers.
Weather is nothing new here, but when temperatures drop to as low as 30 below, many residents don't like to go outside.
Oh, it makes my face all numb and my toes cold. You start to not be able to feel your face.
The storm is expected to reach the Northeast early Sunday. There's a rush to save more than 200 neglected dogs in Mississippi before the storm hits there.
Come on, buddy, let's go. Starting over.
Advocate groups from as far away as New York are at the Hoarder House in Tupelo.
The conditions were filthy, and there's dogs inside a home and outside.
Scott Bernier is the CEO of the North Shore Humane Society from Covington, Louisiana.
A lot of these dogs have scars on their faces, which is evidence that they're probably sparring with the other dogs for food.
They hope to place all the dogs in shelters or foster homes before the storm arrives tomorrow. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Court hearing today involving a 5-year-old boy from Minneapolis surrounded by masked ICE agents and taken away. The family's lawyer says both child and father are being held at a detention center in Texas. ICE claims the dad abandoned his son to try to escape them. CBS's Nicole Skanga from Minneapolis.
According to school board chair Mary Granlund, that's not how it happened.
Somebody else saw me and said to the agents, the school is here. They can take him. And I said, yes, I'm here. I am here. I can help with that.
You offered to take him and you saw ICE agents drive away with the 5-year-old boy.
Yes.
Thousands of abortion rights opponents marching today. CBS's Allison Keyes.
For the 52nd year, the National March for Life is being held in Washington, D.C. This year's theme is Life is a Gift, and organizers are hoping it serves as a moment to rekindle hope, resolve, and purpose across the pro-life community. The Trump administration this week announced a series of moves, including blocking foreign aid for groups that promote abortion and blocking funding for research using human fetal tissue.
New findings on dementia and weight loss drugs. Here's Michael George.
People with obesity face a higher risk of dementia, including Alzheimer's disease. That's according to a new study in Denmark. Researchers say it's likely high blood pressure, which often comes with obesity, is one factor driving the risk. But they also stress that means that medications that address obesity could potentially help lower cases of dementia.
This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 11 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, January 23rd. I'm Megan Lynch. Missouri's governor makes a disaster declaration ahead of this weekend's snowstorm.
It allows us for some federal resources, but most importantly, it allows us to activate the National Guard if we need to. We don't intend to call our men and ladies out of the National Guard. We have some wonderful people who serve our state. But if we need to, we have some severe issues that allows us to activate that resource to help Missourians out if needed.
Mike Kehoe told KFTK he's spoken with Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and received assurance federal money is available if needed in Missouri. Last year, St. Louis city officials admitted they pivoted too late when adjusting to the heavy snowfall that trapped residents inside their homes. This year, the city lining up emergency help ahead of time. Mayor Kara Spencer.
We've also have a meeting this afternoon with some exterior partners that can bring additional resources on.
Mayor Spencer adds the city will also utilize new quality assurance teams to ensure covered routes are not missed by their crews. The city has already dropped 13,000 gallons of pre-treatment on the streets. When the snow comes, they'll have 90 personnel working 12-hour shifts. Later this morning, we'll hear from St. Louis County officials about their preparation efforts. The city of St. Louis is activating Code Blue Level 4 this weekend with temperatures plummeting.
Adam Pearson, the city's director of Health and Human Services, says St. Louis will be activating an additional 600 shelter beds, bringing the total to 1,000. He adds the city will also be activating their buses to transport residents to their closest shelter.
We encourage everybody to call 211, meet at the rally points that are available for Code Blue. We can get you transportation to shelter. We have the free transportation through Metro.
Level 4 of Code Blue means many overnight shelters will also remain open during the daytime. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Jurors returned to deliberations this morning in the federal trial of former St. Louis Alderman Brandon Bosley. He's accused of defrauding an insurance carrier on a car claim and lying to federal investigators. Bosley rejected a plea deal offer from prosecutors and requested a jury trial. Missouri regulators are declining to ban college player prop bets, sidestepping a nationwide push from the NCAA.
The association wants to eliminate wagers on individual stats like points or rebounds, citing athlete harassment. But sportsbooks argue that prohibition would be a mistake. Ryan Butler with Covers.com says operators testify that banning these markets removes the monitoring software that's needed to spot match fixing.
The NCAA will continue to say that these bans increase harassment of athletes, it leads to more, for lack of a better term, temptation, more possible nefarious actors, things like that.
But Butler says 7 of the 8 licensed operators in the state testified against the ban. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Missouri's near the bottom of the pack when it comes to a new ranking of America's healthiest states.
Smart Assets annual report on America's healthiest states ranks Missouri at number 40. Based on key metrics like obesity, exercise, smoking rates, and other factors. Illinois fared much better at number 23. Approximately 76% of adults in Missouri exercise regularly, compared to nearly 78% in Illinois. Missouri has an obesity rate of 37%. In Illinois, it's 33%. Nationally, Utah is the healthiest state, while West Virginia is the least healthy. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Drivers in rural America often lose access to cheaper, higher ethanol fuel blends during the summer months. Metro East Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski testifies the EPA's seasonal ban isn't just hurting drivers at the pump, it's damaging the agricultural sector too.
The farmers that I represent in Illinois need year-round E15. At a time when this president is causing more uncertainty, give our farmers the certainty that they deserve.
The proposed legislation would standardize fuel rules across 50 states, ending the current system where E15 availability fluctuates based on the calendar and EPA waivers. The Missouri Corn Growers Association issued a statement Thursday calling Congress's decision to punt the issue offensive. Association President Brian Lehman argues the common sense fix was ready to go and would have immediately supported rural jobs. From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Because of the wintry weather, the 19th annual Ice Carnival in the Del Mar Loop has been rescheduled and will take place next Saturday instead of tomorrow. And the Jay's biannual used book sale has changed up its weekend schedule due to the weather. The VIP preview has been moved to Saturday morning from 8 to 10. The sale now closed on Sunday. Monday will be the opening day of the popular book sale at the St. Louis Jewish Community Center. It's now 8:08. We'll check traffic and weather just ahead.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RAIN.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
Martin Luther King was killed by an assassin's bullet tonight.
From moment to memory.
It's a strike call! I know, hitter forgets them!
Among those voices, Charlie Brennan.
Well, we've got lots to talk about, despite our listeners' letters to the contrary.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Looking for your dream home in Wentzville? Welcome to Sutton Farms by Lombardo Homes, where community and comfort come together. Enjoy resort-style living with a private clubhouse, indoor courts, a splash pad, sand volleyball, walking trails, and even a dog park. Design your own custom home in our Parkside, Nature, or Tradition series, all within the top-rated Wentzville School District. Discover the perfect blend of small-town charm and modern convenience at Sutton Farms, located off Piney Road in Wentzville. Visit LombardoHomes.com to learn more.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
8:10 on your Friday morning. Let's check the roads for you with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things continue to cruise along out there, Megan. There really aren't any concerns. Northbound 55 is thinned out, run up through River to Pear. It looks good. North 270 barely slow now approaching Clayton Road. Eastbound 64 at the 170 North ramp, just a little slow down there. I mentioned crashes. They cleared them eastbound 70 at 370 and eastbound 70 at 270. And again, no slowdowns through that area whatsoever. Downtown, we still look great. Westbound across the Poplar Mutual Veterans Bridges. Eastbound 44 near the Dome looks a little busy downtown, but that's about the only other place I'm even seeing a slowdown out there so far. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Intervals of clouds and sun today, breezy and turning much colder. Temperature will tumble into the single digits this morning and then hold nearly steady close to 10 this afternoon, with AccuWeather the real field temperature dropping to 5 to 15 below. It'll be frigid tonight. Cloudy skies, perhaps a bit of snow late, below 0. Cloudy and quite cold tomorrow with intermittent snow. Roads will become snow-covered and slippery, the high 12. Snow will be steadier and at times heavier tomorrow night into Sunday before ending late in the day. Snow accumulation between 3 and 6 inches, although 6 to 10 inches more likely just south and east of the city. Travel will become extremely difficult and dangerous, the high Sunday, 15.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
And the temperatures have dipped since early this morning. Florissant, we've got 9 degrees reported now, 10 degrees in St. Peter's. Downtown at the Arch, 11 degrees, but the real feel is 4 degrees. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. The weather expected to cut across the country could be the biggest winter storm in years. We continue our coverage now from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Storm Center. I'm joined by AccuWeather Senior Meteorologist Heather Zare. Heather, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Let's start off with what is driving this massive storm system that's going to hit what I've heard is maybe 40 states.
Yes, this is going to be dozens of states that are going to be affected by this in one way, shape, or form. We've got several ingredients with this. One of the biggest is the bitter cold that has been pushing its way down out of Canada. We have, as you already mentioned, falling temperatures here. AccuWeather real field temperatures across the area right now range from -3 to as low as -25. So it is already cold. Our temperatures, for the most part, are within a couple of degrees of 10. So the bitter cold already in place here, and it's only going to get worse. Temperatures are actually going to be close to 10 all day and then get down close to 0 tonight and mostly stay in the single digits during the day tomorrow. We've also got a lot of moisture that's coming up from the south, along with a storm system that's going to be cutting across the southwestern states. And as that slowly crosses the country through the course of the weekend, it's going to affect, as you said, a lot of states, most of the eastern 2/3 of the country.
When you look at the current models, what's the timing of the storm for the St. Louis region?
We do expect that the precipitation is going to kick in very late tonight. In the city proper, I suspect we are going to see the leading edge of the snow probably right around daybreak. It'll be a little bit earlier, a few hours earlier in the far western suburbs, eastern areas, probably a little bit after daybreak, but kind of right around that sunrise time. We're then looking at the snow picking up as we go through the day tomorrow. And I think that the worst of the snow is going to be tomorrow night and on into Sunday. That is when the heart of the storm is moving by us. And that's when our snowfall rates can be 1 inch or maybe even 2 inches an hour.
What are the snow totals that are expected at this point?
We expect 3 to 6 inches in most areas, probably right around 6, give or take, for most of the immediate St. Louis metro area. You're not going to have to go too far to the south and east of the city, though, to get it up to 10 inches of snow. So there could be some pretty variable ranges of snow across the area, with far northwestern areas leaning closer to 3 or 4 inches, but areas not too far to the southeast of St. Louis getting up to 10.
At this point, what are the thoughts on how long the snow could last?
We do expect that it's going to wind down later on Sunday. So the bulk of the precipitation, the heaviest snow, I think is probably over with by about noontime. But there'll be some lighter snow that lingers, some snow and flurries through Sunday afternoon. And even Sunday night is probably pretty cloudy, and there may be some lingering flurries, though I think once we get past about 2 or 3 p.m. on Sunday, any accumulation should be done at that point. So we can really begin to pick up the clearing in the wake of that worst of the storm.
Heather, historically, where could this storm rank as far as severity?
In terms of the number of states that's being affected, it's definitely going to be higher on the list. It certainly is for a large part of the country. One of the worst storms that there's been in at least 5, if not 10 years. So it definitely is packing a bigger impact because of that. We just haven't seen a storm of this size and severity generally in a long time.
How dangerous could this be?
Very dangerous. When you start to end up with the kind of ice buildup in particular that we are talking about in a corridor that's going to last from, say, northern parts of Texas all the way across southern parts of Arkansas and northern Louisiana over into the Tennessee Valley and even all the way over into the Carolinas, there's going to be a prolonged period of ice with significant ice buildup in those areas. And the temperature is not really going to recover in the wake of the storm either. So between the weight of the ice, the amount of ice, and the fact that you're not going to get a lot of warming to help to get that weight of ice off of trees and power lines and buildings, that's going to likely lead to problems that linger, structural problems that can linger for days beyond. And of course, road cleanup is going to be difficult in those areas as they're not used to this kind of nasty winter weather. So that's going to add to the problems as well. So I think those will be the worst impacts. As you start to get further north, the difficult travel is definitely still going to be there with that heavy snow. We're probably looking at least a couple of days, Sunday and Monday, for a lot of places where travel is going to be difficult and dangerous from the middle of the country into the Northeast with the snow on the roads. And again, the bitter cold sticks around, so you're not going to have any help from any kind of melting post-storm either. And so that's going to delay improvement in those areas as well. So I think we're going to see lasting impacts into Monday.
Then when could we see a warm up and, melt this stuff off?
That is going to be a while. The cold air just really looks like it's going to stick around. And I think the worst of the Arctic air is moving away through New England next week, but another shot of cold air is probably coming in toward the middle of the week. And that's, again, going to affect pretty much the same kind of area. So that is going to include us as well. Middle to later part of next week, it gets colder again. So really, in terms of any kind of meaningful warm up, I think we're going to have to wait until maybe the end of next week, at least a week away.
So Heather, again, for our listeners, if they're just tuning in, what are the high points of the storm? When can we see it start and when will be the peak of it?
In terms of precipitation, we'll start to see the snow kicking in during the day tomorrow. Now, initially, it's lighter and a little bit on and off. So even though roads do become snow-covered and slippery through the day tomorrow, the worst conditions hold off until tomorrow night into Sunday. That's where we have the heavy snow that can come through with snowfall rates as much as 1 to 2 inches per hour. That's when the bulk of our accumulation occurs, with total accumulations of around 6 inches for St. Louis proper, 3 to 6 inches to the north and west, but up to 10 not far to the south and east.
Heather, thank you so much for spending time with our listeners this morning.
Hey, my pleasure.
That is AccuWeather senior meteorologist Heather There joining us this morning here on KMOX. Coming up, we're going to talk about some of the dangers of the cold, hypothermia and frostbite from state health officials. It's now 8:19. Fortunately, it's been pretty quiet on the roads this morning so that you can get out and get those supplies you need to try to weather this storm. Roger Brand joins us now from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's been great, Megan. I mean, we've had the periodic stalled vehicles, but that's it. They just cleared one eastbound 270 at McDonald. There's one now reported northbound 270 Manchester, but yeah, that one looks like it's on the right shoulder. They also had one reported 44 near Jameson eastbound, but again, it's out of harm's way. They get them over to the shoulder quickly, or maybe they pulled over to the shoulder before they even got there. So they're not impacting traffic. In fact, right now I'm looking around at the highways and everything is looking great. I do see just a little bit of a slowdown. South 270 approaching Ladue. The ramps east and westbound 64 to get on to 170 north look a little heavy too, just folks taking their time there. But otherwise, interstate wise, the through traffic on the rest of these area roadways, you're good to go. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And as you just heard on KMOX, of course, the worst part of this storm is going to hit tomorrow. But for today, here's what you can expect. A mix of clouds and sun. It's going to be breezy. Temperatures are going to fall and hold steady around 10 this afternoon. But we could have real field temperatures from 5 to 15 below. Right now, we do have some sunshine, 11 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Bitter cold temperatures and accumulating snow is about to descend on the St. Louis region this weekend.
Wind-driven snow with bitter cold temperatures.
Stay up to date with the latest forecasts and what you need to know to keep you and your family safe from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Storm Center on 104.1 FM KMOX.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
You're back with Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. As extreme winter conditions again grip Missouri, the dangers of extreme cold go far beyond the icy roads and snowstorms that we can experience. Missouri Net's Bill Pollack spoke with Dr. Heidi Miller, Chief Medical Officer for the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, and Kathy Wood, the state's epidemiologist, for some life-saving tips.
Dr. Miller, as the Chief Medical Officer, what are the biggest health risks that Missourians face during extreme cold?
The most dangerous risk is hypothermia, and then we're also very concerned about frostbite. Hypothermia is defined as a drop in the body temperature to less than 95 degrees as a result of either exposure to cold weather or to a cold natural environment. Sometimes it's just related to temperature, but in particular, like a cold temperature combined with being wet, having wet clothing can be dangerous, and people can actually die from hypothermia. Nearly 40 people on average per year in the state of Missouri die from hypothermia, and it's totally avoidable. And we'd love for people to understand how to avoid it.
Yeah, Kathy, what are some of the trends that you're seeing?
Anyone can be affected by hypothermia. But, we do see the vast majority of hypothermia deaths do tend to be males. And that could be due to a number of reasons. I think they have a lot more of the outdoor occupations. They might be more, out hunting or doing cold weather fishing or just, outdoor activities in general. They're probably less likely to seek medical treatment. A whole variety of reasons, but over 70% of our hypothermia deaths over the last decade have occurred in males. If somebody has underlying medical conditions, that certainly puts them at higher risk for a hypothermia death.
Yeah. Dr. Miller, does it just hit us, or are there warning signs that we miss? How do we determine, hey, I'm cold, to, all right, this is danger, this is bad?
The early symptoms of hypothermia include shivering, feeling cold, having some initial numbness, being a little bit confused, fumbling with our hands, losing coordination. But the later stages, severe fatigue, someone can become unconscious. And we actually worry the most when somebody stops shivering. Shivering is a natural protection of the body to keep itself warm. So once the body loses the capacity to do that, it's very concerning. In addition, as Kathy had mentioned, there are certain populations that are at higher risk for developing hypothermia, and partially because you have to have an awareness that you're getting too cold. So folks who are elderly on certain medications, who have dementia or chronic diseases, including heart disease or diabetes, and also if people are using substances like alcohol or drugs, they may not be aware that their body is getting dangerously cold. Some folks may feel like drinking alcohol in the cold will warm them up. But in fact, it just changes the brain's perception of the cold and makes you maybe feel less cold, which is even more dangerous because your body's temperature is plummeting and you are more likely to develop hypothermia.
Up next, we're going to continue this look at cold weather risks with advice for avoiding frostbite. It's now 8:26. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids.
And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-990-1551. That's 800-990-1551.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay, things people love.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. I am quite aware of the dangers being on the road. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. These families' lives will be changed in an instant. We fight for these families as if they were our own. We've become America's largest injury law firm by winning cases just like these. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Okay, I don't want to be mean, but if you're a guy and you just have a grimy, multiple times refilled bottle of Dial that's got the crusty soap on the outside, that's a red flag.
What if you just have a bar of Dial soap with no soap dish?
I never like the bar of soap.
What if you have one bar of soap and you take it from the shower to the sink, back to the shower? How would you feel good about going to that guy's house?
Oh my gosh, I think I would just leave without saying anything.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, weekdays at 9 on KMOX.
8:30, time for another check of the roads for you on this Friday morning. Get you to work safely. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're good to go out there, Megan, just like we have been pretty much all morning. We had a little bit of a slowdown here and there during the peak of the rush hour, but right now it's pretty much non-existent. I still see a little slowdown eastbound 64 ramping on to north 170 as far as stalls. They're all on the shoulder. The most recent ones are northbound 170 at Delmar, south 170 near Page, and eastbound 270 near Lindbergh. Even in the construction zones on the highways, there are no delays. I do see some heavy traffic. It's typical this time of day. 162 at Keebler Road, both directions a little heavy there. But other than that, the rest of the roadways, Lindbergh and Missouri Bottom looks a little busy as well, but not bad overall. Really in great shape overall. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Storm Center, of course, we are expecting some severe weather to roll in. The cold weather advisory kicks in tonight, even though temperatures are already falling through the day today. And then that winter storm warning is going to take effect at midnight through 6 p.m. Sunday. For today, a mix of clouds and sun, breezy, colder temperatures falling into the single digits in some areas, and we could have real field temperatures of 5 to 15 below today. For tonight, cloudy, continued frigid with a bit of snow toward dawn, a low not far from zero. And then tomorrow is when the snow starts, with roads becoming dangerous. Expect a high around 12. Right now, we have 11 degrees downtown at the Arch. As we've mentioned, extreme cold temperatures can be a serious health risk. Moments ago, we heard about the danger of hypothermia. Missouri Net's Bill Pollack spoke with Dr. Heidi Miller, Chief Medical Officer for the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, about what can lead to frostbite.
Frostbite also depends on the temperature, the wind chill, which is the impact that the wind has in making the body even cooler because it blows away the warm, natural heat from the body. And how much someone is wearing and whether or not they have covered up their extremities. Areas of the body that are most likely to experience frostbite are the ears, nose, fingers, and toes. And those areas can be covered up. And specifically, we have to be very careful that people don't get wet when they are out in the cold, because the combination of water and cold can lead to frostbite even more.
Dr. Miller, what does frostbite look like? What do we look for?
When someone is developing frostbite, they can feel numbness, tingling, stinging. The appearance of their fingers can change just depending on their skin color. If their skin is of a lighter tone, they may see some pinkness initially and maybe blue and purple. For darker skin tones, there may be some paleness of the skin or graying of the skin. It can also have a wax-like appearance. And the stinging and discomfort is the early signs. Numbness later is even more alarming. And it's important, first of all, for us to just prevent it, to do everything we can to make sure that someone is not accidentally exposed to cold weather for hours at a time outside without being protected, without checking and getting warm. And if someone does develop frostbite or a concern about frostbite, they need to warm up, exit the cold exposure. And it's actually important that the skin be dry. So if there's any wet clothing or wet exposure, that wet clothing be removed. That's true for hypothermia and for frostbite. And that warming should be done in a dry way, but also a gradual way. With frostbite in particular, if somebody warms up way too quickly, or if they expose their frostbitten fingers to an extreme heat or to the heat of a fire or an electric heater, that can actually cause more skin damage. So it's important to warm up gradually and to absolutely seek medical attention for hypothermia and for frostbite injuries.
That is Dr. Heidi Miller, Chief Medical Officer for the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. Your Money Report is next.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Your Money Report now, sponsored by Eamon Gatner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. More pink slips being handed out at Amazon. The company is gearing up to cut thousands more corporate employees. Sources tell us Amazon plans to start rolling out layoffs as early as next week. This is coming only a few months after the company announced it was eliminating roughly 14,000 roles. Amazon has been removing layers of workers to streamline its business. The tech giant has about 350,000 corporate workers. Traders losing their mojo this morning, futures edging lower after a 2-day rally for stocks. However, the S&P 500 is heading for a weekly drop on the geopolitical tensions over Greenland. And Lego fans, listen up. Soon you will be able to wear those colorful bricks on your feet. Crocs has teamed up with Lego, and they're kicking off the partnership with Lego-shaped clogs that will drop on February 16th. Each pair will include a Lego minifigure with 4 pairs of its own miniature Crocs. They'll cost $150. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for Your Retirement Highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
2 legendary bands. 1 massive night of classic rock. Foreigner, performing the songs that defined a generation. You're as cold as ice. And Leonard Skinner, bringing Southern rock anthems to St. Louis. Foreigner, Leonard Skinner, coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater August 6th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Much of the nation about to be hit by a huge winter storm. In our region, the snow expected to begin falling early tomorrow morning. Colorectal cancer now the leading cause of cancer death among young people. The American Cancer Society says 3,900 people ages 20 to 49 died of colorectal cancer in 2023. That eclipses deaths from breast or brain cancer. And TikTok has finalized a deal to create a new American entity, avoiding the looming threat of a ban in the United States that has been in discussion for years. Let's see how things are moving on the roads. Should be pretty quiet still. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, things look great out there right now, Megan. Just one new stall, but again, it looks like it's on the shoulder. This traffic report's a service of Financial and Tax Strategies. It's on the ramp from northbound 270 onto eastbound 64. I don't even see a slowdown on the ramp going around the bend there. So, again, it's a non-issue. Weather-wise, in the metro area, we're in great shape right now. There's no delays, like I said, on the highways. The only place I'm seeing a little bit of snow peeking in is way up northwest Missouri around Maryville. But other than that, like I said, Missouri and Illinois, you don't have to worry about road conditions, at least not right now. But, of course, as we get more into the weekend, that's certainly going to change. I'm Roger Brand at the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
Bitter cold temperatures and accumulating snow is about to descend on the St. Louis region this weekend.
Wind-driven snow with bitter cold temperatures.
Stay up to date with the latest forecasts and what you need to know to keep you and your family safe from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Storm Center on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Time for the Friday edition of Hancock and Kelley.
You two belong together.
John Hancock, Michael Kelley on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Good morning, John. Are you all ready for the snowstorm?
It's National Snow Hype Day here at the Voice of St. Louis.
Did you go and procure your eggs, your bread, your milk?
Buddy, I got stuff.
Do you?
Uh-huh.
Will you be the one
Two trips yesterday.
Oh, 2 trips to the store. I've not been yet. Huh. Will you be the one that's preparing the meals during the winter storm?
Highly unlikely.
Will you be the one that's shoveling the snow during the winter storm?
You know, I'm not here to talk about the past, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
I will probably pick up a shovel at some point.
Uh-huh. What, and hand it to your wife?
No. We have 2 shovels at the house.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Well, it's legendary that we all know that you're not the one that necessarily does the domestic work around the house.
Well, I mean, inside the 4 walls, I'm killer. You know, I don't like to talk. Last night, for example, the kitchen spotless. You know, while Georgianne's walking the dog,
right?
I'm cleaning the kitchen.
Well, this storm has been hyped like nothing we've seen in quite some time.
It's been a while.
And from a political standpoint, there are political consequences that come with these types of storms.
You don't say.
Right?
Yeah.
We've seen mayors and governors who've had trouble, even our own Tashara Jones after that 3-week ice debacle that took place. The governor jumped out early, declared a state of emergency.
Yes.
The city's out saying they're doing stuff. St. Louis, St.
They're
Charles.
going to be treating the roads ahead of time, and this is always a good test.
Yeah, and there's some perils here if you're an elected official, all right? I mean, you could really wind up messing up your brand if you don't get this right.
You could, although this is not an icy situation here, as I understand it anyway. It's going to be fluffy snow. Blowing around in the breeze as the wind is blowing, and the feels like temperature out there is going to be like, I don't know, 12, 13, 15 below.
Have you heard any predictions on the amount that we're going to get?
Yeah, 3 to 10 inches.
What a deal, right?
I mean, you know, that's good work if you can get it, you know. That's like your financial advisor saying, well, you might be bankrupt or you could be rich.
Yeah, you might be Elon Musk. Hey, speaking of banking, you and I both had an experience with our banks today, but more importantly, thieves out there that are trying to defraud people.
Criminals out there.
Share with the people what happened to you.
So, you know, my business partner lives in Jefferson City. And so, you know, I'll occasionally cut him a check, you know, for his draw.
Yeah, your dividends.
And so, you know, decent sized check, and put it in the mailbox, as I always do. Somebody stole that check. And I don't know if they stole it out of my mailbox at home or whether it was in the postal service somewhere.
Okay.
But some guy gets a hold of that check, and I don't sign his checks, my partner, because he's the signatory.
Right.
So the guy goes into the Commerce Bank.
The thief.
Yes, in Ferguson.
All right.
He's defaced the check, and he tries to not deposit it. He tries to cash the check.
Without a signature on the line,
No,
right?
He signed his name. Now, you know, the check was from Hancock and Prouty. And instead of
Bill Jones signed it.
Instead of signing Hancock or Prouty, he signed his own name, and they caught him. And they went into the branch manager's office, and they called the Ferguson police.
Right.
Troy Doyle, the chief of the
Great
Ferguson
dude.
police, wonderful guy.
Yeah.
And they arrested this fellow who attempted to abscond with my money.
Good for you.
So yesterday I delivered to the Ferguson branch of Commerce Bank.
All right.
A little platter of finger sandwiches, quite nice.
Nice.
And a key lime cookie cake with fruit in it.
Dude.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah.
What a gentleman.
That was a haul up there, man.
Well, it sounds like that
Haul
check
fare.
could have been a substantive size check if you're willing to go up there and buy lunch and cookies for everybody.
Well, they were very appreciative, the bank people, and nice crowd. And I let the CEO of Commerce Bank know what a good job his people had done.
Well, so you call me, you tell me that story.
Yeah.
Not 15 minutes after we get off the phone, I get a call from my bank.
Yeah.
Caller ID says the name of my bank. I answer it, and the guy says, hey, were you trying to send a wire of your money to this place in Staten Island, New York? And I said, I can't imagine I was, but let me check with the person who handles that.
Right.
We got her on the phone, and we're like, no. He goes, oh, well, this happens all the time. I'm going to send you a security code.
Uh-oh.
Give me that security code, and then I'll be able to write this. And that's when things started seeming fishy, even though the caller ID said the name of my bank, et cetera. And we said, hold on, we'll call you back.
Yeah.
So we call the fraud line at our bank. We get our person on. They're like, man, we don't know what you're talking about.
Wow.
That's not the case. And it was like a wire for $80,000. And let me just tell you, the wiring, they were going to be very surprised in that they were going to get nowhere near $80,000 out of my bank. I don't think I've ever had $80,000 in the bank. And so I had the same experience twice. And the same day, you and I dealt with the same thing.
Isn't
People
that
out
something?
there trying to steal money.
Yes. So be careful, folks. Be on the alert. You get all these text messages. I want you to open a link. Don't do it. Don't do it.
And my bank told me, they said, we will never call you, ask you for any information, any code. Always just hang up the phone, call the bank, call your direct banker, etc. Hey, speaking of ICE and banks, etc., you've been paying attention to what's going on over in Davos. Can we come back and talk about that?
Yeah, a little bit of politics going on out there. We'll be back after this on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. Or head to rbastl.com.
So the president of our United States, John, went to Davos, Switzerland for the annual conference that takes place there. He then went about having a speech where he told our allies, including Canada, you live as a result of us. He insulted Denmark. He continues to go after Emmanuel Macron and really tear down the relationships we have in NATO. Let's hypothetically say if we were able to change who our president was and try to stop this stuff that Donald Trump's doing, I think the damage is done. I don't think there's ever any way to put back this alliance. I don't know how these Europeans will ever trust the American allies.
They can't. And we've now proven it, demonstrated it. And the fundamental nature of Western civilization with the United States leadership on the world stage is, I think, irreparably harmed, or harmed for a very long time.
My question is, I've seen a lot of people on social media, a lot of Republican talking heads that are out there defending this behavior. What gratification do we get from insulting Canada? I don't understand how that's funny, how it's helpful, and why anybody would even find that vaguely entertaining.
So Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, just made a trade deal with China, and they're going to start importing large numbers of electric vehicles made in China into Canada. That's a direct hit on the U.S. car manufacturing
and
industry.
One in particular, correct? This guy named Elon Musk.
Yeah, right. And so, those trade deals are happening, and Western Europe is making trade deals with China. India is going to become a much more significant player on the world stage because of the consuming population and the growing middle class there. And all of these things are unforced errors on the part of the U.S. And it's going to have real implications for our economy going forward.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable to me. Speaking of unbelievable, yesterday morning I come out of my house there in the Central West End.
Yeah. 2
cars drive by. They were white cars. They had all these funky looking things on the rooftop. They're spinning around. They were the Waymos. Have you seen the Waymos?
I haven't seen them in St. Louis.
No human being. Well, there was a human being in the passenger seat. There was not one in the driver's seat. These cars were driving on their own. And it's kind of freaky when you see it. You're like, oh, my gosh, this is happening. Of course, we've all seen the videos from San Francisco, etc. Have you run into any of these cars being driven by nobody?
Not here. I have in other cities. And, I would take one.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I would assume no driver would be better than you driving.
Yes. No question about that. And the other thing is, unlike your Uber driver or your Lyft driver, there's nobody to tip.
Yeah.
So the cost is what the cost is. You don't have to, they don't ask you if you want to send a 10, 20% tip. No, because there's nobody to tip.
Yeah,
I love it.
You don't have to talk to anybody about their music or how they smell or anything else that's going on inside of those Ubers.
I do predict that they're going to start equipping these things with AI so that when you get into the car, you can actually have a conversation with no one.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, I can totally see it. I can totally see it.
It was really freaky to me. So then on the way down here, I noticed there was a flag, an American flag in one of the neighbors' yards there in the Central West End that was tattered. And it got me to thinking whether or not they're going to replace that flag. And then I was starting to think, well, I'm going to ask the expert as it relates to flags.
Yes.
If one takes a flag down on their own, can they fold it on their own? Doesn't it take two people to properly fold a flag?
Couple things here.
Okay.
First of all, you do not fold a tattered flag.
Okay.
You burn a tattered flag.
Whoa! You're advocating the burning of a flag.
A flag that is no longer proudly displayed because it's tattered is to be destroyed.
And so my neighbors should take that flag down, and this weekend when they're burning some logs in the fireplace, toss that sucker in there.
Yes. So that's one.
Okay.
Two, assuming that a snowstorm is coming and you've got your flag proudly flying outside your front door there and you want to bring the flag in, then you should properly fold the flag.
But how do you do that if you're by yourself?
It's called a dining room table.
Oh, I thought the flag couldn't touch the ground.
It can't touch. Well, the table's not the ground. The table's a table.
What's the difference?
Well, because the ground is the ground and the table is sitting upon the ground. But properly done, a flag is to be folded by two people, and where you fold it in half lengthwise, and then you fold it in half lengthwise, and then you make a
triangle
paper football. Remember the old paper football?
Yes.
You know, where you slide that sucker across the table, and if it hangs over the edge, that's a touchdown.
Right.
And then you kick it the extra point, you know? That's how you fold a flag.
Interesting.
Just like a paper football. And then when you get to the end of the paper football, you tuck in that last little flap. And
this is a hypothetical. You're very knowledgeable on this. The listeners know that you're an Eagle Scout, even though you don't swim.
1979.
You can't really survive in nature.
I got the Wilderness Survival Merit Badge. I have never touched a fish.
Yeah, so I don't know how you're one of these folks. But do you think right now, if a flag came into this room, that you could properly get it folded on the first try?
Yeah, Michael. Yes.
What makes you think that?
Because I know how it's done.
All right.
I mean, you know.
You wouldn't mess up.
No.
Yeah.
I have folded maybe 4 flags over the course of my life.
Yeah.
All of them executed to perfection.
You are rarely an individual that tries to convince me to do something. But since Christmas, you've spent a lot of time talking to me about your new razor for your face.
Oh, Harry's, buddy.
Your
Changed
hairy
my
face?
life. Yes.
Well, the razor's called
Harry's. Yeah, and my daughter got me a Harry's razor for Christmas. Love it.
What's the difference between a Harry's razor and a regular razor?
You know, all I can tell you is I've spent I've been shaving since I was roughly 17.
Okay.
And so that's a lot of years.
Lucky.
And this is the first razor I've ever had where I don't have to go multiple passes over a particular spot of skin. I can just one pass.
But does it look like a regular razor? Does it vibrate? Is it electronic?
No, it's got the swivel top, you know, and it's got 5 blades in that sucker. And the cream, the Harry's cream.
Yeah.
The smell of this stuff is glorious.
Right.
I mean, you put that stuff on in the morning there and you sniffing and it's wonderful. And then you one pass, done.
What a lucky dude. Now, speaking of smells, I've started a facial routine as we get older. I'm like, okay, I'll start to put some of these serums and stuff on my face.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I got expensive little serums that some friend of mine put together and said, hey, this will be good for your face, etc. I cannot stand the smell of these serums on my face. Now, they don't have any smell when you smell them in the little bottle that they have.
Once they hit your skin, it smells like
on my face, like right now, it doesn't smell bad. It smells a little chemically. But it doesn't smell bad, and it just got me to realizing what women in particular go through for us, because I'm 2 weeks into this, and I can't stand the smell of it, and I think you ought to give it up. Looking.
That's Michael Kelley. Chris and Amy are next right here on Cable X.
Hancock and Kelley with us on this Friday to start the show. They're with us for the first hour, and the winter storm is coming. We are going to help you get as prepared as you can possibly be. We'll talk about that and more coming up on the Chris and Amy Show. We get started after the news on KMOX.